Kay was born at the absolute bottom, a colorless trash with zero innate potential, in a world obsessed with vibrant power. They treated him like a mistake, a smudge on a masterpiece that needed to be erased. But at the brink of death, he unlocked his true color. Black. It's not like everyone else. It eats other colors. Now, with this newfound power, will he finally reach his dream of becoming a hero, or will his power consume him too?
Deep in the dark, a lone figure works tirelessly. The miner, Kay, stops. Something is glowing through the cracks. Could it be? He carefully collects the glowing blue ink. This is his ticket out of the dirt. He thanks Nero. His little buddy is the best partner a guy could ask for. With the ink in hand, Kay's feeling hopeful. Maybe today is finally the day. He steps out of the darkness and looks toward his goal in the distance. The shining city. A paradise of color surrounded by an endless gray wasteland. Inside, it's a different world. The crowds are cheering for their champions. The colorists. The superstars and heroes of this society, dripping in vibrant energy. To the regular folk, these guys are literal gods in human form. Must be nice. As long as they're around, the city stays safe. Or so they say. But not everyone lives in the light. Welcome to the Shadow District. Kay arrives at the recruitment center. He's nervous, but he's got the goods. The sign says anyone can apply, as long as they aren't like him. Instead of an interview, Kay gets a face-first meeting with the pavement. Brutal. Meet the local bullies. Bing and GM aren't exactly the welcoming type. Kay holds up his prize. He did the hard work, he found the ink. What's the issue? A full bottle of high-quality blue. That's more than enough proof of his skill. Bing isn't impressed. He looks like he's having a permanent bad hair day. Then comes the reality check. He's colorless. A total zero in their eyes. In this world, your birth determines your life. No color means no future. Period. Bing says listen while you damn colorless and charges up a blast. The pressure alone is enough to send Kay reeling back. Sucks to be at the bottom. To these guys, Kay is just a bug trying to fly with the birds. It's pathetic. They're chosen heroes. He's just a nobody from the slums. Life isn't fair. Outside the walls, the Black Lands wait to swallow anything that's weak. It's full of nightmarish creatures that would eat a guy like Kay for breakfast. Only the colorists have what it takes to survive and bring back treasures. Bing gives him some parting advice: a dirty colorless like him should stay in the dirt. The doors slam shut. Rejected again. It's a bitter pill to swallow. Even Nero feels the sting of the insult. Kay tries to brush it off. He's used to being the underdog by now. But he's not giving up. He made a promise to become the greatest colorist ever. He tells Nero to hide. If people see a creature like him, it'll be bad news. Time to find another way. There has to be one place that'll take him in. But he's not the only one watching. A shady green-haired guy is tracking him. Kay checks his notepad while walking past more shops. The list is getting short. Page after page of rejection. It's starting to look really grim for our guy. Another miss today. His hope is running low, but his legs keep moving. He ends up at Marie's workshop. Time to see a familiar face and hope for a break. Kay heads back to the one place that actually treats him like a human being. Marie is a ray of sunshine in this gloomy district. She's always happy to see him. She takes one look at his face and knows exactly how the interview went. Major fail. She knows he's got talent, even if the elitist pricks at the gate can't see it. Most pioneers wouldn't last 5 minutes in the Black Lands. Kay does it daily. But Kay's humble. He gives all the credit to his little buddy, Nero. Time for business. He pulls out the blue ink he risked his neck for. Marie's thrilled. Ink prices are through the roof, and she's running low. Without this stuff, the whole city would basically shut down. It's the lifeblood here. Kay's still down. Talent doesn't matter much when you're labeled colorless. Marie's got a plan. She reminds him of a certain opportunity she mentioned before. If you're gonna fail, you might as well fail big. That's her motto. She drops a flyer for the S-Rank Dawn Pioneering Corps. Go big or go home. S-Rank? That's like a rookie trying to join the major leagues on day one. But Marie believes in him. This might be the only place that actually values skill. She knows his dream. He's wanted to be a colorist since he was a kid. Life's been a rain cloud for Kay since the start. Nero's been his only anchor. Marie promises to have his back, no matter what happens. True friend energy. That's all the motivation he needs. No more hesitating for him. He says his goodbyes and heads out, ready to finally take on the world. Kay walks through the Shadow District, clutching his golden ticket. The exam is coming up fast. He's gonna need to prepare like crazy for it. Suddenly, Nero senses something. And it definitely isn't a friendly face. Someone's been lurking in the shadows. And they brought a magic stick. Meet the local trash. It's the green-haired stalker from earlier. A green energy slash cuts through the air. This guy's playing for keeps. Kay barely dodges. Talk about a warm welcome to the neighborhood. Never mind. He gets blasted into a wall. That's definitely gonna leave a mark. The attacker's close and ready to claim their prize. Kay's down for the count. Nero is freaking out, and honestly, same. Kay can barely move. His first thought is for his little partner. He tells Nero to run, but his voice is failing him as he fades out. They've dragged him to the ink waste disposal site. This place is bad news. Kay groggily opens his eyes. Everything hurts and he's in a literal nightmare. Green hair over here is enjoying this way too much. Psychopath vibes. He's got a special execution planned. This pit is a one-way trip to nowhere. Ink waste is a deadly cocktail. It dissolves everything, including the evidence. He wants to know why. What did a colorless guy ever do to deserve this? Turns out, they've been stalking him for a while now. Total creeps. They aren't even interested in Kay. They just want the cat. A creature that follows a human is a gold mine on the black market. Simple greed. Nero's locked up and crying. This is officially the worst day ever for the poor little guy. Kay tries to fight back, but being colorless in this world is basically a death sentence. These thugs don't care about lives. They only see the massive dollar signs on Nero's head. To him, Kay is just trash meant for the disposal site. Kay's kicking himself for being so careless. He should have known the Shadow District is a death trap. But he's not losing Nero. That cat is the only family he has left in this miserable dump. Suddenly, something shifts. A weird black smoke starts leaking out of Kay's arm. Spooky. Green realizes something is very, very wrong. His confidence just evaporated. It's a literal drain. He's being sucked dry by the kid he was just mocking. But it's too late. Kay takes the plunge into the vat of ink waste. This looks like game over. The thugs think the problem is solved. To them, Kay is already literal garbage. Nero is heartbroken. His only friend just got turned into soup in a waste pit. Kay sinks into the abyss. In this ink, everything is supposed to dissolve instantly. His body is paralyzed, but his mind is still screaming. He can't leave Nero behind. Not like this. Memories of Marie and his promise flash before his eyes. This can't be where it ends. He remembers the day he found Nero. They were both alone in the world, surviving together. There's a promise he made, a dream he hasn't reached. He's not ready to die yet. Out of the darkness, a voice calls out to him. And it doesn't sound very friendly. An unnamed inner voice starts chirping. It's mocking him for just standing there waiting to die. It's offering a choice. All he has to do is accept it. Whatever it is, it's dark. The voice keeps pushing. It wants him to stop hesitating and embrace his true self. Time to wake up. Kay's transformation is beginning. Take it back, the voice commands with authority. The ink waste isn't dissolving him, it's becoming a part of him. A hand reaches out from the void. The colorless kid is about to get a major upgrade. He looks at his hands, now covered in pure shadow. He doesn't even recognize himself anymore. His memories are a mess, but one thing remains crystal clear. He has a mission. He can still hear Nero's cries. That's all the motivation he needs to fully awaken. From the depths of the pit, he spots the two jerks who try to turn him into waste. Nero's still trapped. It's time for a rescue mission straight from the underworld. He remembers his purpose. Save the cat, wreck the thugs. Simple enough, right? A pillar of pure shadow erupts. This is way beyond any S-rank color anyone's ever seen. The thugs are absolutely losing it. They wanted a payday, not an ancient demon. The entire pit of ink is gone. K didn't just survive, he basically ate the whole thing. Out of the void steps something that definitely isn't the K they knew. This is new. Green looks like he's about to have a heart attack. Talk about a bad day. A giant shadow hand reaches out. These guys are about to learn a very painful lesson. The Shadow District is a mess. Smoke rises from the rubble of buildings that used to stand tall. Unnamed Old Man Witness, a panicked man with gray hair, screams about what he saw. He gestures wildly while explaining to the on-site supervisor that a tiny hand did all this damage. A flashback shows a massive, dark limb erupting from the ground and crushing the architecture like paper. 2 B-rank pioneers are carried off on stretchers, looking like they've been drained of all life and color. Captain Red, a man with long red hair, and unnamed blue-haired colorist arrive to inspect the victims. The blue-haired woman notes how strange it is for pioneers of their rank to lose their color like this. Red stays cool, crossing his arms while they discuss the large creature that invaded the city. The on-site supervisor is visibly shaking, shocked to see high-level colorists actually showing up. He welcomes them to the Shadow District, sweating as he wonders why such big shots are here. Red doesn't waste time, asking for a full tour of the site to see the damage firsthand. They head deeper into the ruins, where the scale of the destruction becomes even more obvious. Red finds traces of the creature, looking serious as he examines the black stains left behind. Unnamed blue-haired colorist points out how weird it is for a beast this size to hit the outskirts. Normally, this area only sees small, harmless pests like birds and mice, not city-level threats. Standing at the bottom of a massive crater, the duo realizes they might be dealing with a new variant. Red wonders how they're even supposed to track something that can cause this much chaos. Looking out over the destroyed cityscape, it's clear this isn't just a random attack, it's a disaster. Somewhere in the darkness, K groans as he slowly starts to regain consciousness. Nero, the little black spirit, licks K's head to wake him up. K snaps awake and pulls Nero close, relieved to see his companion survive the fall. He wonders what happened, quickly realizing those pioneers must have been behind this. He remembers the feeling of falling into the dark ink and the betrayal that put him there. K's eye flies open as the gravity of his situation finally starts to sink in. He looks at his hands, covered in bandages and trembling from the shock of the awakening. He grips his head, trying to process how he's still alive after everything that went down. The reality of his transformation or the place he's in leaves him completely stunned. He stares into the void, realizing it's so dark he can't even see his own hand in front of his face. He calls out to Nero for help, needing some kind of light to figure out where they are. Nero begins to spin and glow, acting as a living torch in the oppressive darkness. The light exposes a nightmare. The cave is crawling with shadowy monsters watching them. K's heart drops. This isn't just a cave, it's a death trap. He recognizes the desolate landscape. They've ended up in the infamous Black Lands. Specifically the Black Forest, a high-level zone meant only for the strongest pioneers. The creatures aren't waiting around, they're already swarming toward the 2 intruders. K doesn't need to be told twice, he grabs Nero and bolts for the exit. Nero lets out a startled cry as they narrowly avoid a pounce from the shadows. With Nero leading the way, they sprint through the tunnel, desperate to find a way out alive. K stops in his tracks, wondering what this strange sensation is. He looks down at his chest, where dark, ink-like energy is beginning to swirl and pulse. Even after running for a long time, he isn't out of breath, his body feels light. He pushes off, moving with a level of agility that feels completely foreign to him. Every muscle in his body is screaming with a newfound energy. Nero keeps up, a tiny glowing ball of hope in the pitch-black woods. Suddenly, a shadowy wolf-like beast lunges from the darkness with its jaws wide open. The surprise attack throws K off balance, leaving him wide open for a hit. For a split second, he's certain this is where his journey ends. But the monster's head gets absolutely obliterated before it can even touch him. K stares in disbelief at the creature's remains, his own eyes wide with shock. He stands alone in the dark, the silence of the forest returning. He was sure that monster got him, but he doesn't have a single scratch. Then it clicks, this is the incredible power of color he's always dreamed of. Nero lets out a small chirp, snapping K back to the present. A massive, terrifying silhouette blocks out what little light was left in the cave. A Cyclops, a high-rank predator, towers over him with a single, glowing eye. K recognizes the beast immediately, his blood running cold at the sight. There's no way a monster this strong should be in a low-level zone like this. The giant doesn't wait for an introduction, slamming its massive fist into the ground. Nero is terrified, watching as the shockwave rips through the clearing. K is sent reeling, the sheer force of the attack nearly crushing him. But instead of running, a dark smile creeps onto his face. He actually thinks he can win. He flashes back to all the times he was rejected and beaten for being colorless. He clenches his fist tight, deciding right then that he's done running away. That same sensation from before is back, and this time, it's much more intense. K fully gives into the power, his eyes glowing with a terrifying white light. Sensing the shift in power, the Cyclops lets out an ear-piercing roar. K stands his ground against the Titan, looking like a god of the shadows. He launches himself forward, his fist connecting with a devastating impact. The massive creature is easily split in two. A massive shockwave erupts, clearing the gloom from the forest in an instant. For a brief moment, the world around them is flooded with vibrant, living colors. K hovers in the air, a dark void in the middle of a beautiful, impossible forest. His eyes burn with power, but the strain of the transformation is starting to show. He begins to fall, the vibrant world around him flickering like a dying bulb. He catches a glimpse of what the world could be, a paradise of green and light. The dark energy begins to dissipate, leaving him gasping for air as he hits the ground. K is shocked as his hair returns to its original state and the power fades. The colors vanish, leaving him screaming in the cold, gray darkness of the woods. A blinding pillar of light strikes the forest, marking the end of the struggle. K collapses into the dirt, completely drained, as Nero circles him in a panic. Despair hits him as he realizes his incredible power is already fading away. But then, a dark voice whispers in his mind, telling him to feast on the fallen. It's a simple choice, reach out and consume his prey, or die in the dirt. K looks absolutely horrified, his body trembling from the voice's command. With his eyes wide in terror, he stares at the massive monster he just killed. He reaches out his hand, desperate to survive no matter the cost. Even Nero is stunned, watching as the boy gives in to the dark temptation. A violent surge of energy erupts as K literally drains the life from his kill. Exhausted and back to normal, K finally catches his breath. He's safe, for now. Welcome back to Marie's workshop, where the gears never stop turning. Marie is hard at work on her latest design. The bell rings as a mysterious hooded figure enters the shop. Assuming it's just another customer, Marie greets them with a smile. The stranger just stands there, looking like a total villain. Marie starts to get a really bad vibe from this guy. She calls him out for looking incredibly suspicious. Marie grabs her trusty wrench, ready to defend herself. She panics as the figure keeps closing the distance. The figure starts to pull back his hood. Turns out it's just K, looking a little worse for wear. Marie is absolutely floored to see him alive. Her brain is currently trying to process the impossible. She lets out a scream that probably woke up the entire city. Marie is shaking with pure rage. She's ready to hunt down everyone who hurt her friend. Kay tries to calm her down before she breaks something. She finally puts the wrench away, cooling off. Marie is just glad to see he's back in one piece. She can't believe he survived the ink waste and actually gained a color. But black is the color of monsters, which might be a problem. Kay is already setting his sights on the Pioneering Corps entrance exam. He asks to borrow some gear since he's basically starting from zero. Marie agrees, viewing him as a solid investment. She grabs his hand and drags him away to get ready. She's got the perfect outfit for him. Kay is a bit overwhelmed by her sudden energy. The scene shifts to the massive exam venue. Hundreds of candidates have gathered to prove their worth. Everyone is feeling the pressure of the fierce competition. Candidates 183 and his friend talk about joining the elite squad. The Dawn Pioneering Corps is the city's greatest hope. The arena is packed with some seriously strong contenders. Even big names like Ellie Cyan are here for the test. Well-known pioneers are popping up everywhere. But one guy is getting more attention than anyone else. It's Gale, the green-haired powerhouse with a nasty reputation. He's known for taking down monsters all on his own. But Gale's violent nature has already gotten him kicked out of one group. Candidate 183 thinks Gale is just all talk. His friend warns him to shut up before Gale hears him. Gale looks completely unimpressed by the competition. Gale scans the crowd, looking for anyone actually worth his time. He's disappointed. Not a single standout in this bunch. Well, maybe Ellie Cyan, the second daughter of the famous Cyan family. She's decent enough to be noticed, at least according to the rumors. Gale can't wait to see how these weaklings react to real power. Suddenly, the loudspeakers crackle to life to address the candidates. The entrance exam for the prestigious Dawn Pioneering Corps is officially starting. All eyes turn to the stage as the organizers prepare to speak. It's a real-life high-ranking colorist. The crowd is absolutely losing it. This guy is a legend, a major contributor to the recent monster hunts. Seeing an S-rank veteran up close is a first for many of these hopefuls. He welcomes everyone with a presence that's totally overwhelming. The instructor thanks everyone for showing up to get their dreams crushed. He knows they're all here for different reasons: money, power, or duty. But in the end, only raw skill matters if they want to reclaim human land. Mediocre people are just dead weight, so they're getting right to the point. Outside the city walls, the only thing that counts is combat ability. The first test is a tournament. It's literal survival of the fittest out here. The first pair is called up. It's number 126 and number 286. People are already pitying whoever has to face the green-haired heavyweight. Gale is just glad he's finally got some entertainment to kill the boredom. He's already thinking of how to play with his victim. Talk about a psycho. He looks over and sees his opponent stepping onto the stage. Gale is just confused. Who is this creepy guy in the hood? The kid's stance is completely awkward. He looks like a total amateur. Gale decides it doesn't matter. A weakling is a weakling. He's been bored for way too long and is ready to let loose. Now that the stage is set, Gale isn't planning on holding anything back. The spectators are hyped, calling him a genius for his sword skills. At his age, being able to handle a sword like that is practically unheard of. The crowd is glazing TBH. Gale doesn't wait around. He launches into a high-speed assault. He's convinced he's going to shred this hooded kid in seconds. Gale swings with everything he's got, a blur of green energy. But K doesn't even flinch. He lands a counterpunch that sounds like a bomb. The impact sends Gale flying across the arena like a ragdoll. The entire crowd goes dead silent. Nobody expected that. Gale is literally cratered into the wall. He didn't even see it coming. Everyone is losing their minds. How is it possible to end it in one hit? Even K is a little startled by how much power he just unleashed. It was so fast that half the audience probably missed what happened. But then they notice it. K's power, it's black. The color of monsters. Team leader Yellow is losing it. Black isn't just a rare color, it's the literal signature of the monsters they hunt. Even the elite Ellie Cyan is shaken. A human with black power is supposed to be impossible. One hit was all it took for K to delete Gale. Is this the terrifying potential of his black color? Meanwhile, K is just standing there wondering if he overdid it. Read the room, buddy. The arena is a mess after the first round of the Pioneer Corps entrance exam. K's opponent tries to block with a massive rock, but it's like paper against K's power. K doesn't miss a beat, diving in with a black-tinted fist to end the match. A massive black shockwave slams the guy right into the pavement. And just like that, the winner is announced. It's number 286, K. K stands tall, barely breaking a sweat while his rival eats dirt. One last hit and it's over. K officially secures his spot in the next round. As he walks off, team leader Yellow watches from the high seats. Yellow and the board are hyped, they've finally found a black color holder. A new player enters the chat, walking in like he owns the place. Yellow and team leader Blue are stunned by the uninvited guest. Team leader Red arrives with a smirk, radiating pure confidence. Yellow asks why a big shot like him is hanging around a rookie exam. Red complains his last mission was a total bust and a massive headache. He's just here to see if any of these new kids have real potential. Yellow points out a few elites, including a very unique standout. Red's eyes instantly lock onto K down on the arena floor. Is that a black? He hears that the kid has been absolutely dominating every match. Team leader Blue wonders if he's tied to that certain incident. Red gets serious for a second, thinking about a strange coincidence. K takes a breather, having no idea he's being scouted by the top tier. He feels the power surging, confident that becoming a pioneer is a lock. But a flashback reminds him, if he overdoes it, he loses everything. Suddenly, the temperature drops as a massive ice pillar erupts. Enter Lady Cyan, looking calm and collected amidst the frozen chaos. She ends her match in seconds, leaving her opponent frozen solid. Kay watches from the sidelines, acknowledging her as a true elite. She walks past him like he's just another face in the crowd. For a brief moment, the two powerhouses share a tense glance. She doesn't say a word, giving him the ultimate cold shoulder. That icy gaze makes it clear, she's not here to make any friends. And with that cold finish, the first stage of the exam is done. Team leader Yellow takes the stage to thank everyone for their hard work. No time to celebrate, though, they're jumping straight into test 2. The losers are kicked out, while the winners prepare for the next round. The remaining applicants look half dead, wishing for an easier break. Yellow starts to explain the trial, but gets cut off by a hand on his shoulder. Team leader Red steps forward with a look that says things are about to get wild. He announces that the second exam will be personally led by him. The rookies look on in confusion as he tells them the test is simple. Just endure. With a grin, he begins to unleash a hellish heat. Red triggers a massive blast of fire, turning the arena into a literal oven. Team leader Red drops everyone into fiery pressure cookers, and the rookies are already starting to melt. He casually explains he's just recreating a cozy, little environment from his travels. You know, the Black Lands, a place where humans usually have a 0% survival rate. To a pro like him, this hellish heat is basically just a warm fireplace. The rule is simple, survive the heat or pack your bags. If you can't, you don't belong here. The applicants are losing it, wondering what kind of nightmare the Black Lands actually is. One guy's ability is completely useless, the fire barrier doesn't even have a scratch. Yellow watches Red in action, realizing the rumors about him being washed up were total lies. Managing dozens of high-tier barriers at once? Red's control is on a completely different level. The crowd gasps as a familiar icy aura begins to chill the scorching air. Suddenly, a massive frost explosion rips right through the middle of the arena. Ellie emerges from the shattered ice like a total boss, perfectly unscathed. Even Red has to admit that her performance is pretty impressive for a rookie. Breaking through a natural counter like his fire? She's a certified beast. Red starts to think she might actually be the real deal, a true prodigy. But then his focus shifts to the other standout kid, number 286. Kay is still trapped inside, and Red's interest is starting to fade fast. He isn't making a move, and Red wonders if he set his expectations too high. Guess he shouldn't have expected much from a nobody rookie after all. Inside the bubble, Kay is panicking. He realized he burned through his reserves too fast in the first round. He's empty. His black color is literally leaking out of him like a broken faucet. He's fading. If he goes colorless in public, his next home will be a laboratory cage. He's looking for any miracle to keep himself from hitting bottom. He needs something to absorb, and he needs it 5 seconds ago. Then it clicks, Red's barrier itself is made of color energy. Dinner is served. He has no clue what his limit is, but dying is a much worse alternative. He reaches out and grabs the searing red wall, ignoring the pain. Time for a little direct absorption. Let's see if he can swallow this fire. The other applicants watch in horror as the flames start spiraling into a vortex. A massive eruption of black and red energy tears through the center of the arena. Yellow can only watch in total shock. What the hell is this kid doing? Both judges are completely floored by the display of raw, chaotic power. Red just smirks. Finally, something interesting is actually happening. He calls Kay a total lunatic as the black energy goes absolutely nuclear. A heavy silence falls over the stadium as the dust finally settles. Kay realizes he just nuked his own plan, he's officially the center of attention. Cyan Lady is feeling the pressure. She wanted to prove her family's power, but something just changed the game. Enter Kay and his black color. This hasn't happened before, and honestly, no one knows what to do with it. Cyan Lady can't help but feel anxious. That faint sense of dread is starting to settle in. She was raised to be the absolute best. Falling behind anyone isn't just an option, it's a disaster. Plus, she's got a sister to worry about. Disappointing her isn't on the to-do list today. Kay is a monster. Even if she goes all out, a win isn't guaranteed. That realization stings. Just look at that black aura. There's something about him that raw strength doesn't explain. She tries to shake it off. Whatever Kay is, she can't let it distract her right now. Red's already got his hooks in the rookie. He tells the girl things will be different next time. Red is loving this. A color that just sucks everything in. That's his kind of chaos. He leads Kay away for a private chat. The rest of the candidates can only watch and whisper. Kay's worried about the exam, but Red just brushes it off. You pass, kid. I'll handle the paperwork. Kay's stunned. Apparently, making a massive scene was actually the right move for once. He's officially a pioneer. All that struggle finally paid off, or did it? An instructor tells Red to pipe down, but Red just laughs. He's clearly the one calling the shots here. The on-site supervisor steps up. Due to unexpected circumstances, the exam is hitting a snag. Everyone else has to do extra work, except for Cyan Lady. She's already proven she's built different. Cyan Lady watches silently as Red leads Kay into the shadows. The vibe just got a lot heavier. They arrive at a vehicle. It's time for a little field trip to a place most people avoid. Red tells Kay to hang tight for a second. The rookie doesn't really have a choice but to comply. Kay looks around and recognizes the area. This isn't just some random dump. It's the ink waste. The exact spot where he fell and woke up with this cursed power. Red points out how ugly the place is. He mentions an incident that happened here recently. 2 pioneers lost their colors and turned into husks. It was the first time anything like that happened. Witnesses saw a massive creature. A dark, looming hand that definitely didn't look friendly. Then, Kay shows up right after with a black power. Red isn't a fan of coincidences. Red's eyes say it all. He knows Kay's power is about one thing, absorption. Kay is sweating bullets. The guy figured out his secret from the very beginning. There's no hiding it now. He's cornered by someone the world considers a hero. Running isn't an option. If Red wanted him dead, he'd already be a stain on the pavement. Red laughs it off, saying he was just testing him. But that hero smile is starting to look a bit sharp. His job is to investigate, but he's way more interested in how Kay actually works. Normally, colors don't mix. It's a simple rule that everyone just follows, except for Kay. Kay's ability just ignores the laws of nature. That's a pretty dangerous trait to have. We saw it in the exam, that black hole effect sucking in everything in sight. Kay admits the truth. He has no idea how to control the monster inside him. Time for a live test. Red wants to see exactly what this rookie is capable of. He holds out his hand, inviting Kay to show him what that black color can really do. Go on, try absorbing mine. It's a bold move, but Red's not exactly a normal guy. Kay panics. Absorbing a pro's color sounds like a great way to blow up the neighborhood. Red isn't taking no for an answer. Quit yapping and just try it. Black symbolizes the black lands. And things are about to get very dark, very fast. Red looks at Kay, knowing that black color isn't just a gimmick. It's an ominous force meant to devour everything it touches. Depending on how it's used, Kay's power could shake the very foundation of Shining City. No pressure, kid. Red knows leaving such a dangerous, unchecked ability roaming around is a disaster waiting to happen. Kay clenches his fist, feeling the dark energy wisping off him. He's starting to realize he's a walking nuke. Red doesn't sugarcoat it. If Kay can't control this, they might have to take him out right then and there. Red decides it's time for a field test. He grabs Kay's arm, ready to see what this black color can really do. Kay is sweating bullets. He's worried that if he blows something up, he'll be the one footing the bill. The test begins, and a massive vortex of energy starts swirling around them. This isn't just a friendly spar anymore. The black energy starts merging with Red's fiery aura, and things are getting way too hot to handle. Kay is engulfed in a massive explosion of red and orange flames. He's screaming in agony as the power boils inside him. His eyes glow with a feral light. He's completely losing control, and it feels like molten lava is coursing through his veins. He looks up to see Red's massive silhouette looming over him. Now he sees why everyone calls this man a hero. Red watches as the black power tries to suck in everything around it without rest. It's not just an ability, it's starving. The absorption is relentless, but it's still immature. A pro like Red can resist it, but anyone else would be cooked. Red's getting curious. He wants to know exactly how K uses the colors he manages to steal. Suddenly, a jagged black form manifests on K's arm, clamping down on Red with terrifying strength. Red stares in shock as a massive shockwave of black energy erupts from the rookie. That's not a human form anymore. K is turning into something far more dangerous. A massive black claw sprouts from K's arm. If Red didn't know better, he'd swear he was fighting a monster. Red's eyes narrow. Now he's certain that K was the one behind the original incident at the ink waste. K is barely holding on to his sanity, while Red prepares to put out the fire before things get even worse. Red's hand flares with fire. It's time to subdue the rookie before he goes full-on monster mode. He lunges in, but K isn't just sitting there. He's growling like a beast, his instincts taking over. Inside K's head, voices are screaming at him to take more. They want him to stop holding back and just accept the power. K screams back at the voices, forcing the dark energy to stay down. He's not going to lose himself today. With a final surge of will, he suppresses the black energy, sending a shockwave through the area. Red just stands there, watching the rookie do the impossible. He actually managed to reel it back in. K is gasping for air, his body trembling from the strain. Even Red looks impressed that he managed to shut it down. K is having a total meltdown. He really thought his life was over right then and there. He realizes he just went full berserk in front of a high-ranking colorist. Not exactly a great way to make a first impression. There's an awkward silence as Red walks off, clearly deep in thought about what he just witnessed. Red smiles to himself. He was caught off guard, but honestly, this kid is proving to be a lot of fun. He calls off the test, leaving K relieved but completely clueless about what's coming next. Red reveals he was actually the one assigned to investigate the original incident at the ink waste. K's heart drops. He's standing right in front of the guy who's supposed to hunt him down. Red points out that because K stands out so much, people are going to start pointing fingers very soon. The damages are astronomical. Red mentions that the city leadership might just turn K into a lab rat. K is spiraling. He's technically a victim, but in this world, that doesn't save you from a laboratory cage. Red throws him a lifeline. If K joins him, maybe he can make those problems disappear. K bows instantly. But of course, there's a catch. Red isn't doing this for free, he needs a few favors in return. K doesn't even hesitate. Anything is better than being a science experiment or going broke. Red gives him a freaky grin. Anything? He's definitely got something devious in mind. A heavy transport trundles across the wasteland, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. K peers out of a small porthole, realizing just how far from home he's actually gone. He can't help the surge of nerves, this is officially his very first step as a pioneer. His focus is broken when Gale calls out with a sharp, annoyed tone. The green-haired recruit tells him to stop being a distraction and just sit down already. He's clearly on edge, wanting to get the real work started without any extra noise. The loudmouth smirks, noting that like it or not, they're officially teammates for this mission. Ellie stays silent, observing everything with a cold, calculating gaze. K can barely believe it's actually happening, he's really on a major exploration. It all started when team leader Red pulled him aside, claiming he found the perfect spot. Seeing the kid's worried face, Red just laughs and tells him not to worry so much. The commander shows him the map, explaining that plenty of other recruits are joining too. He mentions that the Corps will be announcing the full expedition plan very soon. Red doesn't give many details yet, just flashing a confident smile and telling K to be on time. The boy is left processing the fact that he actually has a designated spot on the team. When K boarded the transport, he found those two veterans already waiting for him. It turns out Red's stunt during the exam shook everything up, forcing a complete restart. To keep things fair, a bunch of the strongest contenders were given an extra test to pass. Even the top scorer, Ellie, specifically asked to join Red's team herself. Gale is still fuming over getting embarrassed by a clueless punk like Kay. He's convinced he just let his guard down and vows not to let luck win next time. He warns Kay to just wait until the exploration ends, he'll be ready to settle the score. The purple-haired girl barely even looks at him, adjusting her glasses with a bored expression. She tells him to just drop it, pointing out that Kay would probably just knock him out again. She tells the green-haired guy he's wasting his breath because Kay is out of his league. Kay is stunned, he didn't expect the icy girl to take his side, even if it was backhanded. But she quickly clarifies, she's the one who's going to challenge him first. She reminds Gale that he lost, so sit down to hold that L. The tension in the cabin is thick as the two rivals stare each other down. Kay can only sweat drop, wondering if this group is actually going to work out. The transport continues its journey toward a distant, glowing industrial silhouette. They finally dock at a massive facility where workers are busy moving heavy cargo. Kay steps off the ramp, taking in the scale of the Dawn Pioneer outpost for the first time. He's impressed by the sheer size. S-Class Corps really don't mess around with their setup. Suddenly, someone pokes him right in the cheek, snapping him out of his daze. A familiar, cheery voice asks him what he's doing just spacing out on the dock. It's Marie, and she's beaming with excitement to be here for Kay's very first mission. Peeking out from her jacket is the little black blob, Nero, letting out a tiny squeak. Kay is relieved to see his friends and thanks Marie for looking after the little guy. She explains that joining this expedition is a huge opportunity to gain some experience. Their reunion is cut short by a voice over a megaphone calling for everyone to assemble. The crowd begins to gather as the announcement rings out, it's finally time to enter the Black Land. Kay hands Nero over, asking Marie to take good care of his little buddy while he's gone. He says his goodbyes and starts heading toward the expedition assembly. Marie reassures the sad-looking blob that everything is going to be just fine. Suddenly, Nero leaps out of her arms. She looks on in shock as he follows after Kay. Nero slips into his shadow as he walks away. Marie is absolutely floored, her eyes practically popping out of her head at the sight. She tries to stop Kay, but he's already deep in the crowd and can't hear her. Kay keeps walking, completely unaware that his pet just pulled a disappearing act. The pioneers gather in a massive, dark cavern lit only by flickering spot lamps. Arantxa takes the stage, shouting for everyone to get ready to head into the Black Land. She reminds the crowd that safety always comes first on every single mission. The leader warns them about Area 21, where the massive corpse of an A-rank monster was found. A scout reports in, noting that Arantxa is officially taking charge of the site. He drops the bombshell that team leader Red is taking the new recruits somewhere else entirely. Arantxa is fuming, realizing Red has ditched his assigned formation without permission. The scout confirms it, Red has gone rogue and taken the rookies with him. She sighs, frustrated that the senior is causing another massive headache for the team. All she can do now is hope that Red manages to bring those kids back in one piece. Meanwhile, a hand reaches out into the darkness of a forbidden uncharted zone. Team leader Red leads Kay, Gale, and Ellie deeper into the gloom. Kay is rightfully terrified, asking if it's really safe for them to be out here alone. Red just shrugs it off, explaining that their real destination is way more interesting. Gale isn't happy about the detour, especially since he's stuck with Kay. Red promises them that as long as they stick with him, they won't get seriously hurt. He flashes a confident, almost sinister grin, looking like a man with a secret plan. Enough with the talking, Kay braces himself as the team finally starts to move. Suddenly, shadow creatures swarm out from the rocks, attacking the group from all sides. Ellie doesn't hesitate, drawing her blade and slicing through a monster with ease. She stays calm and focused, fully aware that this is the true face of the Black Land. Monsters keep pouring in, proving that a real life-or-death fight is nothing like training. She checks her weapons gauge, knowing she needs to be smart with her energy usage. As she fights, she notices Kay is handling the situation in a very unconventional way. Kay is literally grabbing the shadow monsters with his bare hands and crushing them. The girl is completely baffled, watching him manhandle the creatures without a weapon. She finally asks the million-dollar question, why isn't he using a spoit weapon? He admits the truth with a nervous sweat, he doesn't actually own one. He explains that the gear was way too expensive for a broke rookie like him. Gale looks at him like he's just confessed to being an alien. He screams in total disbelief since a spoit is literally the basic gear for a pioneer. Taking down a creature usually requires mixing colors with a spoit, it's standard procedure for anyone wanting to survive. But Gale is losing his mind because K just destroyed a monster with his bare hands. He looks at his own weapon, feeling like a total fraud after seeing K's raw, unassisted power. The rookie is haunted by the fact that he couldn't even scratch a guy who doesn't use basic gear. He's absolutely seething, the humiliation of his weakness burning a hole in his pride. Gale makes a silent vow to one day crush K with his own bare hands. Team leader Red just watches the recruits brood, looking more entertained than concerned by the drama. He chuckles to himself, thinking it takes a real set of geniuses to get this fired up. For him, this simmering rivalry is exactly what makes this field trip worth the trouble. The team pushes deeper into the wasteland, with Red promising a party once they reach the end. The aftermath of a bloody fight, monsters are scattered across the ground. Red gives everyone 10 minutes to regroup before they head out. Green clutches his ink bottle, complaining about how much color he had to burn. K watches Green chug the stuff, recognizing the legendary personal ink. It's an alchemical recovery drink for pioneers, but it's not exactly cheap. Since it's custom-made for each user's color, every sip is basically liquid gold. Seeing his teammates gulp down a fortune makes K feel a little left out. Then again, he doesn't really need it, so he walks off toward the monster remains. Ellie watches him closely, wondering what the hell he's doing. K absorbs the dark essence from the creature, using his unique power to recharge. Recovery complete. No overpriced potions required. Green and Ellie stare him down, worried his body might just explode. K tells them he's fine, leaving the rookie stunned by his insane absorption rate. The break is over. Captain Red calls the team to move out immediately. They reach their destination, and the captain reveals a suspicious smirk. A massive, swirling black sphere sits right in the middle of their path. K is caught off guard by the sight of the giant black curtain. He wonders what kind of monstrosity is hiding behind that darkness. Red admits this barrier is the exact reason K was dragged along. He charges up a red orb to show the team why they can't just break it. He fires a concentrated blast right at the swirling void. The red beam collides with the barrier in a flash of light. Instead of shattering, the curtain just sucks up the energy and gets even bigger. Red explains that brute force only makes the barrier tougher to crack. He notices the similarity to K's power and bets K can erase the thing. Behind that darkness is the path to the ruins they've been looking for. The ultimate goal? Finding the mysterious Stella fragment. Green and Ellie are hearing about this for the first time. K stays silent, focused on the task at hand. Red brushes off their confusion, promising to explain the fragment later. But first, that curtain has to go. K steps forward alone, dwarfed by the massive black wall. He reaches out, ready to see if his power can handle something this big. As he touches it, dark energy begins to spiral around his hand. The entire barrier starts getting sucked into K like a vacuum. Seeing his hunch was right, Captain Red can't hide his satisfaction. The massive wall of darkness starts to dissolve into K's body. Red laughs, realizing K's forbidden power is going to be incredibly useful. Suddenly, a violent tremor rocks the ground, catching everyone by surprise. Ellie panics, knowing the noise will draw every beast nearby. A deafening screech echoes through the ruins, sounding like pure chaos. Shadowy monsters emerge from the dark, and they don't look friendly. The shadowy monsters close in from every side, their eyes glowing with hunger. Captain Red just laughs at the growing horde, completely unfazed by the threat. He orders Green and Ellie to hold the line while K focuses on the barrier. Red's command is simple: wipe them all out. The battle starts in a flash as the team leaps into action. Green leads the charge, his blade cutting through the darkness with a glowing green arc. Ellie follows up, her own power manifesting in sharp, blue strikes. Red stands casually in the center, red orbs blasting back any monster that dares to get close. He's actually impressed by the recruits, while K is consumed by a swirling mass of black energy. Red enjoys watching his subordinates do the heavy lifting for once. Behind him, K is locked in a mental battle with the curtain of darkness. Something feels wrong. K realizes the barrier's power is eerily similar to his own black color. He senses the curtain trying to steal his own energy if he slips up for even a second. K grits his teeth and pushes back, refusing to let the darkness overwhelm him. With a final surge, he absorbs the last of it, leaving nothing but a massive, bottomless pit. K peers over the edge of the abyss, wondering if this really is the entrance they need. He shouts back to the captain that the job is done and the path is clear. Red smirks, satisfied that his instincts about K's forbidden power were spot on. With the barrier gone, Red tells the team to mop up the remaining pests and regroup. He tells the rookies to take it easy, they don't need to slaughter every single monster. Suddenly, the captain's expression shifts. He senses a presence far more dangerous than the local wildlife. Without warning, Red grabs both rookies and leaps back as a massive red blast clears the area. The ground erupts in a surge of red energy, pushing back the entire monster horde. The team stands their ground, eyes locked on the new threat emerging from the shadows. Green is left breathless, wondering what the hell just forced the captain into a defensive move. They look out over the ruins, sensing a shift in the atmosphere that screams trouble. Red's casual demeanor is gone. He knew things were going a little too smoothly. He remembers a report about some dangerous entity nearby. Out of the dust, a massive silhouette appears, looking like a literal god of war with swords on its back. Red realizes they've run out of time to play games with the lower-level monsters. The massive entity stands tall, half its face hidden by a mask and the other showing white hair. Its single glowing eye locks onto the group, radiating an aura of absolute death. Red drops his playful tone and tells the team to listen up, the mission just got a lot more serious. He shoves a lantern into K's hands and gives a shocking order, get into the ruins now. Their new objective is to find the Stella fragment together, and they have to do it alone. K can hardly believe his ears, he's being sent into that death trap without the captain. Red doesn't give them a choice, literally shoving them toward the edge of the abyss. The three rookies are sent tumbling into the dark pit, their screams echoing off the walls. As they fall, Red stays behind to face the monstrous silhouette alone. The captain glares back at the masked beast, his red eyes glowing with lethal intent. After a rough landing, K finds himself at the bottom of the pit, his head spinning in the dark. He holds up the lantern, realizing he's finally standing inside the ancient ruins. K raises his light, ready to face whatever's lurking in the depths of this pit. His jaw hits the floor as the lantern reveals a sight that makes zero sense. A shattered concrete jungle buried deep underground. Safe to say, they're not in Kansas anymore. K stares into the vast abyss, absolutely floored by what he sees. He can't believe a massive city like this was hiding right under their feet. Gale's already complaining about the dark, but K's just relieved he found his team. Ellie and Gale are already at each other's throats about who got them lost. They stop to take in the view, realizing this ruins is way bigger than the map suggested. Gale starts stressing out about finding a tiny fragment in a place this massive. K knows searching blindly will take forever, and he's starting to feel the pressure. He thinks back to Nero, wondering if now is the right time to use his secret weapon. Suddenly, Nero pops out of nowhere with a chirpy little sound. K freezes. Nero just exposed himself in front of the others. Ellie is instantly on guard, shocked to see a strange creature following K. K's brain is racing for an excuse, but he realizes he might as well use this. He figures this is a perfect chance to show his team that Nero is actually useful. Besides, he can't keep his little buddy a secret forever if he wants to be a pioneer. Nero just blinks innocently, completely unaware of the tension he just caused. K calls Gale and Ellie over, trying to act like this was all part of the plan. He confidently claims he's got an easy way to track down the Stella fragment. The two of them stare at him like he's lost his mind. K explains that this little guy has been under his care and can track anything. Ellie is skeptical, wondering why she's never heard of a creature like this. K decides it's faster to just show them what Nero can do. He tells Nero to show off and prove he's not just a cute mascot. Nero suddenly pulls away from Ellie, surprising her. He starts spinning into a bright ball of energy, ready to lead the way. The little cat lights up the entire room like a flare. Gale and Ellie are left speechless by the sudden display of power. Nero takes off, leaving a shimmering trail behind him through the ruins. Gale can't believe a creature with a special ability like that actually exists. K follows the light, keeping his cool while the others process the shock. He tells them that Nero can sense the fragment nearby. Time to move. K gives Nero a mental nod, putting all his trust in the little guy. Nero focuses in on a specific signal deeper in the facility. He speeds off toward a massive entrance, leaving the team to catch up. K spots a tunnel ahead. This must be the place. They stand before a dark hallway, the tension in the air getting thicker. Gale tries to hide his nerves by telling Kay to back off if he's scared. Classic Gale. They decide to head inside, following the faint glow of Nero's light. Boom! A massive mechanical foot slams down, shaking the entire floor. Kay looks up, his heart dropping into his stomach. The dust settles, revealing a colossal machine blocking their path. Gale draws his weapon, but he knows they're in way over their heads. A mechanical golem towers over them, and it doesn't look like it wants to talk. Ellie is already panicking, realizing this thing isn't a normal creature. It's a literal tank with legs. Kay and Ellie brace themselves as the giant machine looms over them like a bad debt. Suddenly, the machine starts scanning them. It's basically checking their hex codes before a beatdown. Gale is sweating bullets as the scanner locks onto his green color code. Kay realizes the machine is looking for specific colors to identify them. Talk about a strict dress code. Kay stays sharp, waiting to see what this mechanical bouncer thinks of his lack of color. The scanner hits Kay and pulls up a total 0. No color detected. That's usually not good. The mechanical golem detects the black witch color and its eye turns into a murder beacon. It officially identifies Kay as a threat. Elimination mode, on. This robot does not play around. The bot attacks instantly, sending Kay flying before he can even blink. Talk about a warm welcome. Kay barely manages to block the follow-up, but the sheer force is enough to rattle his teeth. He's pissed now. Attacking without warning is a major party foul in his book. The bot gets ready for round 2, and Kay's teammates are just watching the show in shock. Kay tells the machine it's about to get smashed into scrap metal. Big words for a guy half its size. They clash fists, sending a shockwave through the room. Kay's feeling the burn. This hunk of junk is way tougher than it looks. He starts wondering if he's actually fighting a brick wall with a personality. Ellie joins the fray, but her blue power just splashes off the metal like water. No effect. The robot shrugs off both their attacks like they're annoying mosquitoes. Gale is getting worried. Ellie realizes their color powers are basically useless against this mechanical monstrosity. Kay is running out of options. Time to think outside the box before they get pancaked. He spots a glowing core in its chest. Bingo. Every giant robot has a weak point, right? But getting close to that core is like trying to hug a blender. Kay needs a plan, fast. He winds up for a desperate strike, hoping he can land a hit before the bot lands one on him. Kay realizes his normal punches are just tickling this thing. He's gonna need a bigger boat. The robot swings a massive arm, nearly taking Kay's head off. This is getting intense. Kay is backed into a corner. He's starting to reconsider his career choices. He remembers his forbidden black power. It's risky, but it might be their only shot. He coats his fist in pure black energy, despite the massive strain it puts on his body. He focuses everything into a single point. It's all or nothing now. Kay launches himself forward like a bullet. The machine won't see this coming. His black fist connects right with the bot's core, creating a massive explosion of energy. The force of the impact sends shockwaves through the entire room. That's gotta hurt. The bot finally collapses, crumbling into a pile of useless scrap. Mission accomplished. Kay catches his breath, looking completely exhausted from using that forbidden move. Gale and Ellie can only stare, completely stunned by the power Kay just displayed. Kay notices a small, strange-looking core left behind in the wreckage. Finders keepers. He thinks Marie might find this useful, so he tucks it away for later. Practical thinking. His teammates aren't letting it go though. They want answers about that terrifying black power. Kay just gives them a lame excuse, saying it's a technique that drains his energy too fast. Gale is still suspicious, but before he can press further, something else catches their eye. A massive door at the back of the room starts opening all by itself. Great, more trouble. Nero senses something fishy behind that creepy door. Spoilers, it's definitely fishy. Kay asks what's up, but Nero's just screaming in small creature language. They stare into the void. Usually, the void doesn't stare back, but here? Who knows? Kay decides to be the guinea pig and checks if it's safe. Pro tip, it's never safe. He touches the curtain. It ripples like a puddle. Surprise! It's a portal. The portal decides it wants company and starts dragging them all inside. Panic mode activated. Gale blames K for touching things, which is totally fair. And just like that, they're swallowed whole by the darkness. Bye-bye, ruins. Falling through a literal void. This is definitely not on the tour itinerary. They land in a place so dark, Ellie can't even see her own blue hair. Fumbling around in the dark is the best way to get a jump scare. Gale realizes he's lost his color. He's gone full black and white movie star. Everyone is grayscale and confused. Welcome to the color-free zone, guys. Eastern Administration Office. A fancy building for a bunch of stressed-out bureaucrats. Someone is having a legendary meltdown. The director slams his desk, cursing a brat. A panicked subordinate tells him that K is out on a mission with team leader Red. The director thinks Red has lost his mind for taking someone with black into the field. To him, Red is a hero, but this time he's clearly gone off the deep end. Last time a dark creature showed up, the city nearly fell into a total panic. While the director drowns in stress, Camellia just chills with a fresh cup of tea. She's teasing him for being in a bad mood, which only makes him angrier. Meet Camellia, the pink-haired captain of the Dawn Pioneer Corps. She's way too relaxed. She reminds him that Red is their best safety net and might actually have a plan. According to her, they need trust right now, not more fear or doubt. Deep thoughts aside, the tea is absolutely disgusting. The director's secret weapon for stress? Dumping an entire mountain of sugar into his drink. He snaps at her to focus. They're talking about the potential end of the world here. Black symbolizes death. The first black tide almost wiped out humanity. Monsters, dark fog, and total chaos, the world nearly became a wasteland. Strange things are popping up everywhere, and they need all the firepower they can get. Lord Luminous wants every asset utilized, even K. The director isn't exactly a fan. He agrees to try his best, staring down at K's profile like it's a bad omen. He suspects the whole city might soon revolve around this one kid. Meanwhile, the actual mission is going great, if you enjoy being trapped in a void. Green is losing his mind because his color is literally disappearing. K's still looking sharp, though. Perks of having a dark power, I guess. Ellie and Green are collapsing. Turns out, being drained of color makes you physically weak. K wonders why they're so dramatic. He feels perfectly fine. The pressure in the air is getting heavy, and his teammates are hitting their limit. But then, K spots something glowing through the dark fog. Whispers start drifting through the void, and they aren't exactly friendly. Green pulls his sword, ready to fight the literal air out of pure panic. K recognizes the voices, but something about these whispers feels different. Suddenly, a small shadow woman appears behind them. Talk about a jump scare. K senses the bad vibes immediately. She just stands there, looming over them like a silent nightmare. K freezes as the shadow points directly at him. Surprise! Something ancient and terrifying just woke up. His mind snaps, showing him a massive portal devouring a city. Eldritch horrors are stomping through civilization like it's a playground. It's the apocalypse on replay, and it looks suspiciously like a memory. The shadow woman watches him with glowing, eerie eyes. Is this a repressed memory or just a really bad trip? K stares into the abyss, left with one question: who the hell is he? A voice echoes in K's mind, giving him a name and a heavy weight to carry. It tells him to find his own light and color. No pressure or anything. K snaps back to reality, cursing the creepy visions that keep haunting him. He's sweating bullets. Whatever he saw at the end of that vision was definitely not sunshine and rainbows. He remembers the name Lumiel, his focus returning to the mess right in front of him. Things are going south fast. Ellie and Green are losing it in the dark. Green is swinging his sword at shadows while Lumiel is having a total mental breakdown. They're both possessed by their own trauma, stuck in a loop of guilt and rage. K realizes this place is pure poison. If they stay here any longer, they're toasted. Suddenly, a bright trail of light cuts through the void. Guess who's back? It's Nero. K is relieved to see his glowing buddy is totally unfazed by the darkness. Nero is definitely on a mission, pointing K towards something in the distance. No time to waste. K follows the glowing trail like it's his only lifeline. But first, he's got to deal with his two teammates who are currently trying to kill everything. He turns to Nero, hoping the little guy has a trick up his sleeve to save them. Nero delivers, creating a massive glowing barrier that pushes back the oppressive darkness. It's working. The barrier keeps the shadows at bay, giving everyone a moment to breathe. Kay tells the others to stay put. He's going solo to scout ahead. He walks through the endless black, feeling like he's on a treadmill to nowhere. Those annoying whispers start up again. No color can stain you. Yeah, real helpful. Finally, a speck of light breaks the monotony. Kay picks up the pace. After walking in a void, anything bright is a win. He stops in his tracks, his eyes wide as he sees the goal of their mission. There it is. A massive glowing structure holding something incredibly powerful. The Stella fragment. It's even more blinding in person. It's a different shape than the last one he saw. Every fragment must be unique. He doesn't want to hang around for a tour. It's time to grab the loot and go. Kay reaches out. One touch and he can finally leave this nightmare behind. The fragment swirls with every color imaginable, like a tiny galaxy in his hand. As soon as he touches it, a rainbow of energy surges through his entire body. His absorption ability kicks into high gear, acting on its own once again. A blinding flash of white light erases the darkness in an instant. Just like that, the black space vanishes. They're back in the ruins of the real world. Kay reunites with the team. Missed me? You guys look a lot less possessed now. He shows them the prize. The mission is officially a success. Green is surprised by how tiny it is. All that drama for a colorful rock? Ellie is more curious about how Kay managed to stay perfectly fine in that void. Meanwhile, Nero is taking a real interest in the fragment. Chomp. He eats it whole. Everybody is left speechless. Nero swallows something he definitely shouldn't have. Kay's not happy about his cat's new diet plan. Gale tries to shake the glow out of Nero while Kay tells him to lay off the pet. Just when things couldn't get worse, the ruins start to crack. Talk about perfect timing for a disaster. The whole place is coming down. Time to go. They book it for the exit before the entire structure flattens them. Meanwhile, above ground, someone new is stepping onto the scene. Team Leader Orange, also known as Camellia, is already assessing the situation. She knew this mission would be a mess. Camellia spots some ominous marks. One of her subordinates confirms a certain lunatic is back. It's the Sword Demon, a dark-clothed entity with white hair known as the Black Hand of the Witch. This isn't just a turf dispute. The Sword Demon is a literal nightmare and a total pain to deal with. His arrival usually means a spike in monsters. Camellia calls off the investigation immediately. It's time to pull out before everyone ends up dead. The squad is confused, but Camellia isn't taking any chances. They've already got what they came for. The goal was just to get the trainees used to the Dark Lands, and they've definitely seen enough for today. Suddenly, a massive explosion of red energy erupts nearby. The real fight is starting. That red flare means a heavy hitter is already clashing with the enemy. Camellia realizes the Sword Demon is closer than she thought. If the old man is fighting personally, things are serious. A brutal exchange of power kicks off, lighting up the dark landscape. A massive beam of energy slams into the ground, forcing everyone to scramble for their lives. Camellia pulls out her giant hammer. It's time to show them why she's the one in charge. She slams her weapon down, releasing a devastating shockwave of orange energy into the field. The expedition is officially over. Camellia gives the final order to retreat. She tells the squad to head back to the outpost while she stays behind to finish the job. Purple Hair stays behind to back her up while the subordinates take the lead on the retreat. Camellia then blasts off to the battlefield. The Sword Demon stands unfazed in the center of the destruction. He's barely even trying. Team Leader Red steps up, clashing his glowing blade directly against the demon's sword. The demon's grip is like iron. This guy isn't just a monster, he's a master swordsman. Red and black energy swirl together as the two powerhouses trade lethal blows. Red blocks the spear with his glowing sword. Red swings his glowing blade with everything he's got, trying to force an opening. But the Sword Demon moves like a shadow, dodging every swing with terrifying speed. A close call. The demon's blade is blocked before it takes off Red's head. The demon is suddenly on edge. A massive pillar of fire erupts, turning the entire area into a blazing furnace. The Sword Demon leaps through the flames. Suddenly Camellia drops in from above like a meteor, daring the demon to dodge her hammer. She's got a wild look in her eyes. She knows this is exactly the kind of fight she lives for. Her hammer connects with a bone-shattering impact, sending a shockwave through the air. The sword demon is smashed into the ground by the massive hit. Red just smirks and points out that she's late to the party. He complains about almost dying while Camellia tells him to cut the nonsense. These two are a dangerous pair. The last hit wasn't enough to end things. Up close, you can see the white hair and that creepy half-mask. Creepy. Red tells Camellia that their color will make this fight easy. She just tells him to focus. The stage is set for a real showdown. Neither side wanted this to turn into a full-blown war, but they don't have much of a choice now. Camellia starts channeling her energy, her boots lighting up with a powerful red aura. She's locking in. It's time to break another one of the witch's black hands with that massive hammer. The sword demon remains silent, just watching his opponents prepare their next move with those glowing eyes. Somewhere nearby, Kay's group is struggling to escape the ruins before they're buried alive. They're almost at the surface. Red and the sword demon realize the group is on the way. Kay and his teammates finally reach the exit. They can hear the battle raging just outside the hole. One final push. Kay's hand grips the edge as they pull themselves out of the darkness and into the light. They finally make it back to the surface. It's the first time any of them has been happy to see the dangerous dark lands. Kay is totally exhausted. After that narrow escape, he never wants to set foot in a ruin ever again. But the nightmare isn't over. He spots the sword demon and the others fighting in the distance. Talk about out of the frying pan. Red and Camellia are caught off guard. This is the worst possible time for the trainees to show up. Red screams for the kids to get away. They've stumbled right into the middle of a literal kill zone. The sword demon doesn't hesitate. He charges toward the trainees, warning them not to even think about fighting back. He moves like a blur of shadow, closing the distance before the kids can even process what's happening. Gale and Ellie reach for their specially crafted spoit, hoping it can buy them a few seconds. The team tries to combine their powers, but they're way out of their league against a black hand. The demon strikes with overwhelming speed, cutting through their meager defense like it's made of paper. They watch in horror as their special weapon shatters in a single hit. Reality sinks in. The kids is absolutely terrified, realizing he's completely defenseless against this monster. Suddenly Kay jumps in front of the lethal blow, nearly getting cut clean in half. Kay collapses to the ground, coughing up blood. That was a direct hit that should have been lethal. His teammates scream his name as the demon looms over them like a grim reaper. They're next on the list. The demon kicks Gale square in the chest and grabs Ellie by the throat. The demon uses her as a hostage to keep the others at bay. Stop. Red and Camellia finally arrive, but they're too late to prevent the bloodbath. The demon tells them to stay back and make way. He's not interested in fighting the professionals, not yet. He demands the key. He wants them to hand it over right now, or the girl dies right in front of them. Red's eyes glow with rage, but the demon's threat is clear: any move means certain death for the hostage. Kay is lying face down in the dirt. It looks like the journey of our colorless hero ends in this wasteland. Red is fuming. He hates being played like this by a bastard like the sword demon. But wait, Kay's hand starts to twitch. There's still a tiny spark of life left in that broken body. The demon is getting impatient. He tells them to decide quickly before he loses his temper and kills everyone. Camellia yells at him, unable to believe the demon is after something as mysterious as a key. They have no idea what he's talking about, but the demon isn't listening to their excuses. He wants his prize. Suddenly, a dark silhouette rises from the ground behind the demon. Camellia can barely believe what she's seeing. The sword demon senses a massive surge of power and turns around, completely blindsided by the sudden change. A voice echoes from the darkness, asking, "Who are you?" But it doesn't sound like the Kay they know at all. Kay is engulfed in a terrifying black aura, his eyes glowing with a cold, otherworldly light. Something ancient has awakened. Sword demon is losing his mind. He can't believe Kay is back on his feet. He's staring at a ghost. The fear is finally starting to kick in. How can a mere human possess this much darkness? It's not natural. Kay's arm is healed and literally dripping with forbidden energy. Then he lets it rip. A massive vortex of pure void. The sword demon is pulled in. Even team leader Red is rethinking his life choices right now. Suddenly, Kay has the demon by the throat. Camellia realizes they need to move, and fast. Red's worried Kay's finally lost it to the corruption. He looks like a monster. Has he turned into one of those black hands? Sword demon feels his very soul being drained away. He sees it now. This is the exact same power as hers. The realization hits hard. Kay isn't just a kid, he's the key. Dark mouths with glowing eyes start gnawing at the demon. Nightmare fuel. They're relentless, tearing into him from every angle. The demon cuts through the chaos. The demon knows he's outclassed. He can't take this head on. He goes for a cheap shot, aiming straight for Kay's limbs. He's desperate to disable the kid before things get worse. It didn't work. Kay is standing there like it was nothing. Kay grips the sword. The ground itself is opening up to eat him alive. More teeth shadows lash out, forcing the demon onto the defensive. He never expected a human to have this kind of reach. Out of nowhere, Camellia swings in with a heavy hit. She tries to flatten him into the dirt with an explosive strike. But the demon is still fast enough to block the impact. He senses the pressure. This girl is still a major threat. The demon decides it's time to bounce. He found what he came for. He makes a break for it, leaving her in the dust. She's pissed. Running away the moment things get tough? Typical. Team leader Red isn't letting him off that easy. The demon looks back, thinking he's home free. Red has a different plan. Where do you think you're going? He unleashes his ultimate move, Chroma Annihilation. A massive pillar of red heat carves a path through the earth. It catches the demon, melting his arm right off. He tries to heal, but the chroma power is burning through his regeneration. Red stands ready. Let the real fight begin. Team leader Red isn't playing around. He's ready to send this monster to the afterlife. He swings his blade, lighting up the darkness with pure red energy. Sword demon realizes he's cooked and bounces, but not before promising to come back for the key. The dark entity vanishes into thin air, leaving nothing but shadows behind. Red stares into the abyss where the demon just escaped. Camellia wants to keep the chase going, but Red knows when to fold them. She's frustrated they lost him again, but Red knows that depths are a death trap. Deep Woken reference? They're at their limit. Even with their power, they can't go any further. It's a bummer, but the Dark Lands are basically a giant shield for the bad guys. Someone calls out for the team leader. Ellie feels bad for being a burden, but Red's just glad she's safe. Then Red turns his attention to the real mystery, Kay. The kid is just standing there, silhouetted by a creepy black aura. Red knew Kay was a wild card, but this is some next-level power scaling. Shadows are swirling everywhere. Is he literally absorbing the land itself? Suddenly, the power cuts out and Kay drops like a sack of potatoes. The team is stunned. They've never seen a colorless do anything like this. He's back to his normal, powerless-looking self. They're left asking what we're all thinking, what even is this guy? Meanwhile, in the depths, the sword demon is limping away in shame. He's bleeding red energy. That chroma attack really did a number on him. He's in a lot of pain and definitely not having a good time. Eventually he's able to regenerate his arm again. Enter Viper. She's here to talk trash while he's down. He's not amused. Seems like she has a habit of poking her nose where it doesn't belong. Viper and her green-haired squad roll up, looking ready for trouble. She's bored and wants the scoop on how he got clapped so hard. She's got that "I know something you don't" smirk on her face. She spots the scorch marks. She knows exactly which monster did this. He tells her to beat it, but she's too busy laughing at his struggle. She's surprised he escaped with his life. She knows Red's the type to burn his own life force to win. Then she drops a bomb. The Black Witch's curtain has finally opened. She wants to know if he figured out the secret behind it. Total silence. He's not giving her a single hint. Why would he share the location of his prize with a snake like her? Viper thinks he's a total snooze fest. But the demon is already planning to snag the key all for himself. She calls him a moron for being so obvious about hiding things. Her sister agrees. They've got their own way of finding the truth. By moving the monsters around, they're bound to find a clue sooner or later. Viper is ready to cause some serious chaos by unleashing this massive Gyuki-looking shadow beast. The real nightmare is just getting started. Red, Gale, and Ellie gather in the infirmary, watching over a battered and unconscious Kay. Red looks down at the boy, his expression heavy with a deep sense of guilt. He promised everyone would stay safe, but the memory of Kay's arm getting torn off by the sword demon proves he failed. He offers a quiet apology to the sleeping rookie, taking full responsibility for the disaster that nearly cost them everything. Staring at his broken pocket watch, he realizes that despite all his power, he hasn't changed a bit since the old days. He clenches his hand, feeling like a total failure of a hero. Ellie tries to ease the mood, noting that given the survival rate for rookies, they're lucky to be alive. She insists that it's thanks to both leaders that everyone made it out in one piece. Marie watches them, silently vowing to get stronger so she isn't just dead weight next time. She's wondering what kind of crazy world she's stumbled into. The city's most famous colorists just showed up at her doorstep, claiming to be Kay's teammates. She was terrified when Kay was brought back half dead, but these elites don't seem like bad people. Kay's still out like a light. Marie just wishes he'd wake up already so she doesn't have to handle this on her own. Red turns his attention to her, confirming she's Marie, Kay's close friend. He tells her there's no need to worry about Kay's health, but there is one thing he needs to ask. Gale and Ellie are on the hunt for a small creature named Nero. Gale spots the little guy hiding right there on the bed. Talk about being in plain sight. Nero pops up from behind Kay, looking like he hasn't a care in the world. Gale reminds everyone that this little brat is the one who swallowed the Stella fragment during the battle. He had a nightmare trying to explain how the mission's main objective just vanished into thin air. He lunges for the creature, but Nero is way too fast for him. Nero leaps right into Marie's arms, seeking safety from the loud green-haired guy. Marie's just relieved the little guy is safe. It turns out it was hiding in Kay's shadow the whole time. She hugs Nero tight, glad it made it back in one piece. Red stares at the creature, sensing a power that feels strangely familiar. Suddenly, Nero's mouth begins to glow with an intense, rainbow light. The creature hacks something up, much to Marie's surprise. Looks like someone's having indigestion. Everyone stares in disbelief as Nero spits out a glowing, ethereal orb. It's the Stella fragment, the very thing they nearly died for in the ruins. Red catches it. They finally manage to secure another piece of the puzzle. He reflects on the heavy cost they paid just to recover this single fragment. The memory of the sword demon's overwhelming darkness still haunts him. It was a monster way out of their league. Gale and the others would have been slaughtered if Kay hadn't stepped in with that terrifying power. Suddenly, Kay's eyes snap open, filled with sheer terror. He bolts upright with a frantic scream, still caught in the nightmare of the battle. He stares at the team, panting and confused. He has no idea where he is or how he survived. Disoriented, he looks around the room, wondering where the sword demon went. Then he looks at his hands. His hair and skin are pure white, he's completely colorless. Panic sets in. He has no way to explain why he looks like a literal ghost. His mind races to the past. He's terrified they'll kick him out of the city the moment they see his true self. But Red just looks at him calmly, asking why he's making such a long face. He doesn't care about his looks. What matters to him is the spectacular performance Kay gave on the battlefield. The rookie officially made the cut. Red isn't planning on taking it easy. He's going to work the rookie to the bone from now on. Kay takes a second to process the threat of literal slave labor. He gives a genuine smile. For a kid who thought he was getting fired, this is the best news ever. Red tells the others to finish up their chat, then starts heading out. He's got a date with Lady Luminous to hand over that shiny new Stella fragment. Until the Pioneer Corps sends new orders, the team is free to do whatever. The others stay behind to check on their star rookie. Ellie isn't buying the amnesia act. She asks if Kay really doesn't remember anything. Kay plays it safe. Red told him to keep a lid on his powers, so he feigns a total blackout. She sighs and lets it slide. Everyone in this business has a few skeletons in the closet. But there's a bigger problem: how is he supposed to get his color back? Marie steps up with a smug grin. She's already got a special recovery drink prepared. She starts digging through her bag like a scavenger in a junkyard. She pulls out a jar of black ink. The professional colorists are immediately on edge. She casually mentions she swiped it from a toxic disposal site. Yum. Ellie is horrified. That stuff is literal poison for anyone with a brain. But for Kay, this is basically a 5-star meal. He doesn't hesitate for a second and chugs the entire jar of sludge. The effect is instant. Dark energy starts swirling around him like a total edgelord. And just like that, Kay is back in black and feeling better than ever. Marie offers to supply even more from her workshop. Gale is in the back, dying inside. Gale has had enough of the wholesome moment. He's ready to get out of there. He looks at Kay with an intensity that could melt steel beams. He points out the obvious miracle. Kay's arm is back. Fully regenerated. That kind of healing is reserved for top-tier elites. Something isn't adding up. He demands to know why a rookie would risk his life for them. Kay starts sweating. He needs a believable excuse, and he needs it now. He tells Gale he just wanted to help because he felt they were in danger. That answer clearly doesn't sit well with Gale's massive ego. He slams Kay against the wall. He's not buying the hero act for a second. He screams that he never asked for help from some lucky brat. He drops the professional act and admits it, he absolutely hates Kay's guts. Kay just stands there, taking the verbal beating with a blank stare. Marie jumps in to defend her boy, telling the hothead to back off. Gale is fuming. His pride is shattered after being saved by a colorless kid. He storms out without so much as an apology. Classic Gale. Ellie decides to call it a day too. She tells Kay they'll settle their own match later. The kid just can't catch a break. Finally alone, Marie suggests they head back to the district. But Kay's got a little surprise for her before they leave. He recalls taking down a massive mechanical guardian and salvaging a little something. Kay grabs a mysterious gift from the shelf. He thinks Marie is going to love this souvenir from the battlefield. He presents her with a severed mechanical head. Talk about a romantic gesture. Marie is speechless. Most girls want flowers, but she's clearly built different. She stares at the piece of junk like it's the crown jewels. It's exactly what an eccentric inventor needs. Meanwhile, Red is busy making his way through a massive, unnecessarily bright cathedral. He reaches the inner sanctum where the big boss is waiting. The atmosphere is literally glowing. Red bows before a radiant figure. He's finally got some progress to report to the High Command. He tells her the prophecy is on track. They're finally ready to open the Black Witch's curtains. Meet Lady Luminous, the ethereal beauty pulling the strings from the shadows of the holy city. We return to Marie's workshop in the industrial sector. Marie is geeking out over some tech scraps on her workbench. It's a ruined golem core, ancient tech with efficiency that's off the charts. She explains that even faded ink kept this thing running for centuries. Kay isn't impressed. To him, it just looks like another hunk of metal. Marie starts daydreaming about the era of lost ancient technology. Kay suggests selling the relic, which sounds like a crime to a gearhead like Marie. She's not selling this beauty, she's going to tear it apart for research. She promises to use the core to build Kay the perfect equipment. Seeing her this happy makes Kay glad he brought the core back. Time to head out with Nero. But Marie stops him before he can leave. She mentions that someone has been asking around about him. It happened while she was looking for recovery ink in the Shadow District. A group of suspicious guys she'd never seen before cornered her. They weren't just random thugs, they knew exactly who she was. The mysterious man in hat asked if she was Kay's friend. They're looking for the Black Wielder everyone's been talking about. Marie didn't wait to find out why, she bolted as soon as she could. She tells Kay to stay away from any weird people he sees. It's unsettling, but Kay figures they'll find him directly if they have to. He heads home through the grimy streets of the industrial zone. He's exhausted and just wants to get some actual sleep for once. But something feels different today. There are way more drifters hanging around than usual. People who usually hide underground are coming up to the surface. He wonders if a gang war broke out or if something big is happening. Suddenly, Nero senses something lurking in the shadows. The little familiar points right toward a pitch-black alley. Kay knows it's dangerous, but he can't just ignore a potential threat. He trusts Nero's instincts, someone is definitely hiding in there. Kay decides to test a new technique he's been practicing. He focuses his ink into his eyes to see things he normally couldn't. He activates inverted sight, flipping the world into a negative filter. The dark alley lights up, revealing a glowing figure at the end. Kay is shocked. Someone was actually lying in wait for him. As soon as he's spotted, the mysterious figure starts to retreat. Kay shouts for them to wait and gives chase. If this person is looking for him, he can't let them escape. For Marie's safety, he needs to find out who the stalker is. He lunges through the doorway and the world instantly shifts. 1 second it was a grimy alley, and now he's in a hall of pure light. Celestia is surprisingly chill about being tracked down. Kay, on the other hand, is absolutely freaking out. She greets him as the Child of Black with a mysterious smile. She drops her name like it's no big deal, Celestia. Kay realizes he's standing in front of the actual Luminous. Why would the ruler of the Shining City be in a place like this? Suddenly, a dark presence starts crawling through Kay's mind. A voice in his head is demanding that he take the light. Kay is losing it as the Child of Black persona starts to take over. The voice commands him to devour the light immediately. Celestia watches as Kay gets consumed by a familiar darkness. Shadows start leaking from his eyes, turning him into something else. She mentions that Kay is the first one to survive being this far gone. It looks like he has a direct connection to Nyx, the Black Witch. Apparently, some of the city's top brass wanted him eliminated. But Celestia doesn't agree. She sees a weapon she can use. She's willing to gamble everything on the power of Black. First, she needs to see if Kay is worth the risk. She releases a burst of prismatic energy that lights up the room. The shockwave snaps Kay out of his dark trance. He's gasping for air, stunned by how clear that voice was. He wonders if he just heard the voice of the Black Witch herself. Celestia tells him to relax, she just wanted a formal meeting. She thanks him on behalf of the city, which just confuses him more. Kay doesn't feel like a hero who did anything for the city. She pulls out a Stella fragment, a piece of raw prismatic power. Bringing this back is more than enough reason for her gratitude. Kay tries to share the credit with the rest of the red team. Celestia acknowledges them, but she knows the truth. Kay was the only one capable of opening the Black Witch's veil. She explains that his feat is literally impossible for anyone else. Not even a Luminous like her can break that seal, only Nyx can. Most of the world's Stella fragments are locked behind those veils. The city has been constantly clashing with Black Hands for scraps. Kay wonders why he's being trusted with this high-level intel. He doesn't even know what these glowing rocks are actually for. Rather than explaining, Celestia decides to give him a demo. She warns him to keep his mouth shut about what he's about to see. They step out onto a platform that feels like it's in the clouds. Kay is speechless. They're looking down at the entire world. The sudden teleportation to her sanctuary has his head spinning. Celestia takes his confusion as a sign that she made the right choice. Celestia tells Kay to watch closely as she activates the fragment's power. A massive pillar of prismatic light shoots up, splitting the sky in two. Kay stands back, absolutely dwarfed by the sheer scale of the energy. He can't believe his eyes, this kind of power should be impossible. The light hits the black land like a physical wall, forcing it back. The darkness is finally being pushed away, leaving Kay completely speechless. Extra, extra. News of the miracle is spreading through the city faster than gossip in high school. People can't believe Lady Luminous actually drove back the darkness. Looks like she's the real deal. With the city expanding, everyone's suddenly feeling a lot safer from the monsters lurking outside. They're all wondering who their mysterious protector really is since she hardly ever shows her face. New land means new riches, and the pioneers are already salivating at the thought of more resources. Kay sits in the shadows, listening to everyone scramble to invest in the next big thing. The whole city is buzzing after his little stunt yesterday, but he's keeping a low profile. He recalls his vision of Lady Luminous, who's impressed that he actually brought back the fragment. She tells him the Stella fragment makes a lot of things possible, but it also paints a target on his back. The Black Hand is already on the hunt, and they'll be coming for him the second they hear about his power. She promises to protect him if things get dicey, but he's mostly on his own for now. The city is burning through resources just to survive, so she can't spare much help. She's busy holding back the encroaching darkness herself, so her time is limited. Kay listens as she warns him that people will either fear his power or try to exploit it. Classic humanity. She tells him it's time to head back, ending their little mental meeting on a polite note. She promises rewards for his team before fading away. At least the goddess has good manners. Kay snaps back to reality and decides his day of rest is officially over. Time to get moving. He wonders what his next move should be. Sitting around isn't exactly his style. He remembers Marie looked pretty stressed about using up all her ink for his sake. He leaves a few coins on the table and figures it's time to pay her back. Mining seems like a solid choice for old time's sake. Plus, it pays the bills. He arrives at the assembly hall, the legendary hub where all the big-shot pioneers hang out. He can hardly believe he's actually stepping inside this place instead of just lurking outside. Back when he was colorless, he couldn't even dream of getting near the front door. But now, he's walking in with the confidence of a man who actually belongs here. The second he walks in, the room goes silent. Apparently, the black color is a conversation starter. He keeps his head down, but the whispers are impossible to ignore. Fame is a double-edged sword. Some find him creepy, but everyone is dying to know what his weird black color actually does. They're all gossiping about how he managed to catch the eye of a random red colorist. He's watching the newcomer from above, clearly amused by the stir he's causing. Red's curious about the kid his boss handpicked. He likes things that break the mold. He asks Arancha for her professional opinion on their mysterious new teammate. Arancha admits that Kay was actually pretty impressive out in the field. High praise from her. She warns that he's a bit of an unstable element, though. Someone to keep a very close eye on. That just makes Red even more interested. Normal is boring, after all. Kay heads to the desk to find some work, ready to take on whatever missions are available. The receptionist hands him the paperwork to get started. Mining or bug squashing? Take your pick. A group of veteran pioneers watch him from a nearby table, and they're definitely not fans. They think his color is disgusting and can't stand the hype around a colorless upstart. The red-haired man asks his brother if he agrees that the new guy is a total eyesore. His brother just gives a silent, annoyed grunt. Looks like Kay won't be making friends here. Kay grabs his papers and walks away, completely ignoring the haters as he prepares for his first job. Bing is still salty about the new kid getting all the attention. Typical veteran ego. He thinks Kay is just a lucky rookie who hasn't actually paid his dues yet. In his head, even a beer rank like him wouldn't have survived what Kay did. Clearly, something's fishy. He decides to follow Kay into the tunnels to purify the city of his presence. Talk about an overreaction. Deep in the mines, Kay is busy putting in the work while everyone else is gossiping. He finds a massive raw stone. Jackpots like this are usually a once-in-a-lifetime thing. He's never seen this many high-quality stones in one spot before. It's like a treasure room. These things sell for a fortune as fuel or weapon ink. He's about to be rich. He knows Marie will be thrilled when she sees this haul. Finally, a win for the team. With his new eyes, hunting for these riches is practically a cheat code. No darkness can hide them. The only catch is they drain his energy faster than an old phone battery. Power has its price. He jokes with Nero that the little guy might be out of a job soon. Sorry, buddy. He finished way ahead of schedule but doesn't want to draw unwanted eyes by leaving early. Since he has time to kill, he decides to get some training in. No rest for the weary. He focuses on his main ability, Ink Drain. It's powerful, but it still has a mind of its own. If he wants to survive the future, he has to master this volatile power once and for all. He picks up a vivid blue stone, noting just how valuable and bright the color is. But the second he touches it, his power reacts violently, spiraling out of control. His hand starts devouring the stone's color before he can even blink. Stop eating the prophet. He pulls back just in time, but the stone is already a gray, worthless husk. Major bummer. He realizes the flashier the color, the more his power wants to run wild and consume it. He needs to stay sharp so he doesn't end up being consumed by his own strength. He wonders if the colors he absorbs just turn black or if he can actually use their unique traits. Black is the combination of all colors, so maybe he can mimic any power he wants. Power creep, anyone? If he can pull it off, he might become the ultimate colorist. Time to aim for the top. He takes a deep breath and tries to focus on a specific memory of power. Concentration is key. He attempts to tap into the fiery red energy he saw from Team Leader Red earlier. Suddenly, his whole body feels like it's being tossed into a furnace. That's a bit too much heat. A massive burst of red energy explodes, nearly taking his hand with it. Practice makes perfect, eventually. He sighs, realizing that learning new tricks won't be a walk in the park. He's determined to keep at it until sunset. He starts the long trek back, hauling his heavy haul behind him. Heavy lifting is part of the job. He definitely overdid it, those bags are heavy enough to break a back. Greed can be painful. But as he nears the exit, a group of shadows blocks his path. Looks like trouble found him. Bing is leading the charge, and he clearly didn't come here to offer help with the bags. He calls Kay the city celebrity with enough sarcasm to fill the whole cave. Real charming guy. Kay realizes he's just walked right into a classic cave ambush. This is going to be a long walk home. Kay's just trying to mind his own business when these clowns decide to block his path. One guy calls him a rude rookie. Kay just stares back, not even blinking. They want to know who he is, but he's really not in the mood for an intro. GM spots something glowing in the bag. Looks like someone just hit the jackpot. He shouts to the boss that this kid's carrying enough loot to retire early. Red guy steps out with a smirk. He's not happy about Kay trying to hog all the ores. The boss tells his boys to teach the kid a lesson. Things are about to get ugly. GM pulls out a knife. He's looking to do more than just squeeze some info out of him. Red guy warns him, if he dies resisting, that's his own fault. Kay stays silent. Kay suddenly drops the heavy sack. The thugs are too busy drooling over the loot to notice. GM digs into the ores, laughing about how much cash they're gonna make off this. He tells Kay to just stay obedient. Too bad Kay doesn't take orders well. A heavy fist connects right with his face. That's one way to shut someone up. GM is sent flying backwards, his body slamming hard into the dirt. Kay shakes his hand off. He's tired of dealing with these generic bottom feeders. He tells them to quit wasting time. Marie is waiting, and his patience is gone. The next thug charges in with a blade, screaming like he actually stands a chance. Kay doesn't even flinch, he just delivers another brutal right hook. The guy is blasted into the stone wall, cracking the rock like it's made of glass. Kay turns his gaze toward the last one standing. His expression is colder than ice. He catches the fist from a surprise attack. With a massive heave, Kay hurls the big guy through the air like a ragdoll. He follows up by slamming the guy face first into the canyon floor. Brutal. Kay stands over them, reminding the thugs that greed always comes with a price. Now it's just the boss left. Red guy is the only one who hasn't been humbled yet. Suddenly, a beam of red energy shoots past Kay's head, nearly taking it off. It hits the rock face behind him, exploding with enough force to send debris flying. The impact leaves a massive crater in the stone. That definitely wasn't a warning shot. Kay breaks a sweat, he barely dodged that. This guy isn't just a regular thug. Red guy pulls out a strange, steampunk gun glowing with red energy. He's actually impressed Kay managed to avoid a direct hit from that distance. He looks almost disappointed, like he was hoping to finish this in one go. The boss starts mocking him, calling him a dirty black who has it easy. He claims everyone's obsessed with Kay's disgusting color, but he's not a fan. He grips his weapon, changing his mind about just breaking some bones. Since his crew is useless, he decides he's just going to kill Kay right here. A barrage of red shots fills the air, homing in on Kay from every angle. Kay ducks and weaves, charging straight through the rain of energy. He closes the distance in a flash, catching the boss completely off guard. Kay unleashes a flurry of punches, his fists blurring as they hit home. Red guy groans in pain, unable to keep up with Kay's insane speed. He tries to level his gun for a point-blank shot, shouting at Kay to get off him. A massive red explosion rocks the canyon. Red guy isn't playing around anymore. Kay barely escapes the blast. He realizes those aren't just normal bullets hitting the dirt. The boss explains his crystallization color. With his custom gun, he's basically a walking armory. He gloats about having infinite ammo. As long as he doesn't run out of juice, the kid is toast. A barrage of red shots fills the air. Kay is forced into a defensive dance to stay in one piece. The canyon floor is getting shredded. K weaves through the chaos, looking for an opening. K admits the gun is a pain. This guy might have a trash personality, but his skill is legit B rank. He thinks about absorbing the shots, but his black ink isn't quite ready to handle a full assault. One mistake and it's game over. K remembers the last time he took a hit like this. Out of nowhere, one of the goons grabbed K from behind. Talk about a dirty team-up. K's eyes go wide. He definitely didn't see the bulky guy coming back for round 2. Red guy is just as surprised. His own goon is actually being useful for once. K tries to kick himself free, but the big guy is holding on like his life depends on it. The goon screams for the boss to take the shot. He's willing to be the bait. Red guy doesn't hesitate. He loves a clear target, even if his own man is in the way. He pulls the trigger point blank. A massive blast of red energy erupts right in K's face. Direct hit. The explosion is so violent it looks like K's head should be gone. The boss smirks, convinced he just ended the fight. That hit was as perfect as it gets. K just stands there, head bowed in the smoke. The silence in the canyon is deafening. Red guy's smirk disappears. He's staring at K like he just saw a ghost. K looks up, and half his face is covered in a swirling black stain. He looks bored. He casually mentions it's a good thing he could absorb that. If he failed, he'd be in trouble. The boss starts backpedaling. K is walking him down. In a blind panic, Red guy empties his clip, screaming for the monster to just die. K keeps moving. The shots either miss or get swallowed by the shadows around him. K taunts him, telling him to keep shooting. He's sweating bullets now. All that pride and crystallization power didn't do squat. K reveals his black veil. He's absorbing the boss's shots in his own body. Now, it's his turn. Red guy can't believe his eyes. There's no way K survived a direct hit like that. He thinks the boy is just bluffing to look tough, reloading his weapon with shaky hands. K remains calm, realizing these bullets aren't even a threat anymore. The black ink swirls around him, but K notes it burns through his color reserves way too fast. He needs to find a way to bridge the gap and finish this before he runs dry. He stares down the redhead and asks if he can borrow a little inspiration. K starts concentrating his energy, trying to mimic the way his enemy crystallizes color. In a flash of darkness, he manifests a jagged black spear from thin air. Red guy is left speechless, he's never seen anything like this. The experiment is a success, and K lets out a satisfied smirk. He's only ever fought with his fists, but he's finally starting to understand his true potential. Draining color gave him more than just strength, it gave him the blueprint for his opponent's moves. He thanks Red guy for the free lesson and prepares to go on the offensive. K lunges forward, swinging the heavy ink spear with terrifying speed. Red guy barely scrambles out of the way as the ground shatters beneath the impact. Frustrated, Red guy opens fire again, but the desperation in his eyes is clear. The bullets are absorbed harmlessly into the dark mist surrounding the boy. K laughs it off, telling him his petty tricks are completely useless now. He treats the life-or-death struggle like a casual training session, taunting the B-ranker to keep up. He takes to the skies, silhouetted against the blinding light before bringing down the hammer. The earth explodes as the spear slams down, sending shockwaves through the entire area. Red guy grit his teeth in terror, this level of power shouldn't be possible for a black. He realizes K is copying his crystallization technique with terrifying precision. K decides to switch things up, shifting the ink into a new, more lethal form. He manifests a massive black blade and swings it with all his might. The ink sword connects directly with Red guy's weapon. A sickening crack echoes through the air as the custom-made gun shatters into pieces. The broken shards hit the ground, and Red guy's confidence goes right along with them. He stares at the wreckage, unable to process how his most prized tool was destroyed in a single hit. The realization sinks in, he's not fighting a normal colorist, he's fighting a monster. K stands amidst the dust, his aura flaring as he prepares to finish the job. The redhead is paralyzed by fear, realizing his black opponent has powers beyond his comprehension. K feels the strain on his body, his color is depleting at an alarming rate. He decides the raw destructive power is worth the cost and keeps pushing forward. He mocks his weaponless foe, telling him he's welcome to try fighting barehanded. Red guy fumes with rage, his pride as a B-ranker pushed to its breaking point. He screams at K not to get cocky, unleashing a massive surge of red energy. Jagged red crystals of ruby and hematite erupt from the floor in a violent display. Kay is forced to back off as the entire environment turns into a deadly minefield. Red Guy boasts that he didn't reach his rank by just relying on a gun. He doesn't need a tool to kill when his very color is a weapon of destruction. Charging with murderous intent, he vows to end Kay with his bare hands. Red Guy unleashes a barrage of red crystals, hoping to pin the kid down once and for all. But Kay isn't having it, summoning a solid wall of black ink to block the entire attack. He stands his ground, looking completely unbothered by Red Guy's best efforts. Kay doesn't wait for an opening, he creates one by charging straight through the cloud of debris. He closes the gap in a flash, catching Red Guy completely off guard. The red-haired executive stares in pure disbelief as the boy survives his ultimate move. Kay isn't here to talk, he winds up for a devastating, power-packed punch. The hit connects right in the gut, sending a shockwave through Red Guy's entire body. Red Guy doubles over and coughs up blood, his confidence shattered along with his ribs. Kay grabs him by the collar, making sure his prey isn't going anywhere. He slams the executive into the pavement with enough force to create a massive crater. Red Guy is left gasping for air, looking like a broken mess on the ground. Kay stares down at him with a cold, piercing gaze that would make anyone's blood run cold. Red Guy groans, more annoyed about his wasted energy than his actual injuries. He can't understand how a rookie pioneer has this much raw, uncontrollable power. Panic finally sets in as Red Guy realizes he's in way over his head with this kid. He glares back from the dirt, calling Kay a straight-up monster. He shouts that having black power isn't even normal, trying to hide his fear with insults. Red Guy keeps ranting, desperate to find some way to hurt Kay with his words. He asks if Kay has ever truly felt the corruption and darkness inside himself. He claims Kay isn't even a person, just a freak wearing a human skin. Red Guy is trembling, but he won't shut his mouth for even a second. Kay just stares at him, his expression remaining hollow and terrifying. He deadpans, asking what the hell the guy is even talking about. Kay points out how Red Guy went from cocky to having a mid-fight identity crisis. He grips Red Guy's throat tight, cutting off his pathetic rambling in an instant. Since the guy is so curious about his power, Kay decides to give him a proper demonstration. He tells Red Guy that since he tried to steal Kay's stuff, it's time to pay the tax. Black ink begins to drain Red Guy's life force as he lets out a blood-curdling scream. Kay sits on his throne of defeated enemies like a king who just finished a very long shift. He's sweating though, leaving these guys bleached is a one-way ticket to a wanted poster. People already hate the black ink. He doesn't need monster who eats color on his resume. If the city finds them sucked dry like this, they'll definitely come for his head. Panic mode activated. He starts digging through his bag like a man possessed. Jackpot. He finds a bottle of personal ink. Time for some quick damage control. Drink up, buddy. He forces the ink down the guy's throat to cover his tracks. Instant results. The shadow executive's color starts coming back, much to Kay's relief. One down, the rest to go. He moves to the next body to finish the cover-up. Meanwhile, over at the Shining City's East Gate, the guards are on high alert. They sense something's off. The air around the entrance is thick with tension. Then they find them, the whole squad of shadow guys tied up and left for pickup. The victims look absolutely wrecked. Like they had the souls sucked right out of them. The guards are baffled, while Kay lurks in the background, keeping his head down. He manages to slip past the crowd unnoticed. Smooth operator, mission accomplished. He's feeling pretty good about himself. Giving that ink back was a total pro-gamer move. Now he's heading back through the city streets, finally heading home. Destination, Mari Workshop. It's time to pay his favorite gearhead a visit. Inside, Marie is hard at work, soldering away and completely in her zone. Kay bursts in after being MIA for days. Naturally, Marie isn't exactly thrilled. But he's got that "I brought you a gift" grin. He knows he's about to be forgiven. He drops the bag, and Marie's eyes nearly pop out of her head. A literal sack of high-grade color ores. For an inventor, this is winning the lottery. She's so hyped she practically tackles him. Kay's officially back in her good books. Seeing her smile like that makes all the trouble in the Shadow District worth it. Suddenly, Kay notices something strange. A warm glow radiating from her chest. It reminds him of the light he saw around Gale. Something deep and powerful. It's a warm, bright feeling. He wonders if this is the true color hidden inside her. No matter how dark the city gets, Marie's always been the one to brighten things up. She's been through hell with him, yet her smile never fades. This color really suits her. Marie wants to return the favor. She leads him deeper into the workshop for a surprise. Kay's curious. He wasn't expecting her to have a project ready for him so soon. Turns out, she's been making a custom gear upgrade just for his unique abilities. With those new ores, she can max out the specs. No more holding back. She's already brainstorming new inventions. Once Marie gets going, there's no stopping her. Their celebration gets cut short though. Someone just walked through the door. Figures they'd find him here. Cyan Lady has officially entered the building. Kay isn't exactly jumping for joy. Seeing her usually means more work. She didn't come alone either. Gale is right behind her, looking as stoic as ever. Kay's on guard immediately. Please tell me you're not here for a rematch. Apparently, Gale has been training like a madman just for a chance to beat him. But they're not here for a fight today. The Corps has officially summoned them. Lord Luminous himself wants to give them a reward at headquarters. Talk about a major glow-up. Marie is practically shoving Kay out the door. This is a huge deal, no time for gear talk. She's beaming, telling him to come back safe. She'll have his custom gear ready by then. Kay agrees, though he's still looking forward to seeing what she's been cooking up. Next stop, Dawn Pioneer Corps headquarters. It's an imposing sight for a rookie. A purple-haired assistant named Lavian leads the trio through the pristine corridors. Kay is totally floored. The place looks more like a museum than a military base. Achievement plaques and artifacts line the walls. It's a literal temple of heroes. Lavian keeps them moving though. They have a very important meeting to get to. They enter the main office, and there she is, the boss of the whole operation. She's already eyeing them like a scientist with a new set of lab rats. Meet Camellia, the leader of the Dawn Pioneer Corps. She's got more style than sense. She greets them with a smirk. It's not every day Old Man Red gives out compliments. Kay's heard the legends. She's one of the few multicolor holders in the entire city. She's chill though. She tells them to relax, they're here for all the right reasons. Especially Kay. Being the first black wielder in history makes him a local celebrity. She takes a sip of her tea, looking like a dignified leader for about 3 seconds. And then she nearly chokes. Apparently, that tea tasted like straight liquid garbage. Lavian is not amused. She already told Camellia to stick to sweet stuff like cocoa. Camellia tries to regain her dignity. It's time to talk business, and rewards. Lavian brings out a tray of personal safes. It's payday for the rookies. She explains that their credit is guaranteed. They can withdraw cash anywhere in the city. Kay takes one look at his balance and his soul nearly leaves his body. This isn't just a reward, it's a retirement fund. He could buy a whole house with this. But wait, there's more. She hands over their brand new C-Rank Pioneer IDs. They're skipping probation entirely. Talk about an express pass to the big leagues. And the cherry on top? An invitation to the legendary color workshop. Gale and Cyan Lady are speechless. Getting an appointment there is a miracle. Even nobles have to wait in line, but the Corps is a VIP client. Only the best for them. The workshop handles gear for the elite. Kay's about to get some serious upgrades. Camellia points them toward the Luminia district. It's time to claim their prize. She officially welcomes them to the Corps. From now on, they have full backing. The fragment they recovered is the key to the city's survival against the Black Land. She's expecting big things from her new rookies. No pressure, right? Kay steps out of headquarters feeling like he's on top of the world. He checks in with Nero. Today has been one lucky break after another. Promoting to C-Rank this fast was beyond his wildest dreams. He made the right choice. He can't wait to see the look on Marie's face when she hears the good news. But when he gets back to the workshop, something feels off. The door is standing wide open. He calls out for her, but there's only a heavy silence hanging in the air. His heart sinks as he steps inside. The workshop has been tossed. Tools are everywhere. The realization hits him like a freight train. Marie is gone, and this was no accident. A massive wall of darkness descends on the city's forward base. This doesn't look like a normal storm. Welcome to the Easter forward base. It's about to have a very, very bad day. Panic hits the squads as the perimeter is breached. It's a literal nightmare as soldiers scramble to their posts. The captain screams to focus fire on the big guy. Yeah, good luck with that. The waves just don't stop. These monsters are relentless, and the soldiers are starting to realize they're cooked. From the top down, the base is getting absolutely swarmed by shadow beasts. Meanwhile, Viper is chilling on a cliff, enjoying the show. She thinks their struggle is peak entertainment. Luring in small fry like this is just a warm-up for her. She's bored out of her mind. She wants a real fight. If they're taking down the city, they need something way more decisive. The shining city glows in the distance, completely unaware of the darkness heading its way. Sword Demon isn't a fan of her plan. He thinks charging into the city is suicide. He's the silent but deadly type, staring down the city like it's his next victim. Viper reveals a secret: there are paths leading straight to the Undercity. And they found something useful down there. Ever heard of the Undercity? It's where the real monsters play. Back at the workshop, Kay walks into a room that's way too quiet. Marie? His voice drops as he realizes something is seriously off. He checks the room, his heart racing. The place is empty, and the silence is screaming. She's not in the workshop either. This isn't like her at all. Tools are scattered everywhere. Someone didn't just leave, they were taken. Kay clenches his fist so hard his knuckles turn white. He stands in the doorway, his shadow stretching out like a monster of its own. He remembers her face. If they hurt her, there won't be enough left of them to bury. Nero pops out of nowhere with a cue, breaking the heavy atmosphere. The little blob found something. Kay looks down, hoping for a clue. Nero is guarding a strange mechanical gauntlet on the desk. It's a custom spoit. Marie must have been working on this before she vanished. She was making it for him. Even when she's gone, she's still helping him. Kay activates his inverted sight. His eyes turn into pitch-black voids as he scans for traces. Inverted sight. A glowing trail appears, leading right out into the dark. It's her color signature. He's got them now. He's worried, but he knows he has to keep his cool to finish the job. The kidnappers are definitely dead men walking. Kay is setting his emotions aside to become the hunter. It's that group from before. They're using her as bait to lure him out. Trash of this city. They really shouldn't have touched what's his. Hang on, Marie. He's coming, and he's bringing hell with him. He reaches for the spoit. Time to see what this thing can really do. It fits like a glove. Literally. A perfect fit. It feels like it was meant to be a part of him. Black ink surges through the gauntlet, swirling with terrifying power. Now he understands the hype. This power boost is absolute insanity. Let's go, Nero. The rescue mission is officially on, and it's going to be a bloodbath. Kay is on the move. He's not stopping until he brings Marie back home. He tracks the trail deep into the city's underbelly, away from the prying eyes of the light. But he isn't alone. A group of lowlifes has been waiting for him to show up. He reaches the end of the line. The trail stops right at the edge of the abyss. The tracking fails here. It's like her signature just vanished into the dark. Then he sees it, a massive shaft leading straight down into the unknown. He realizes this is why there were so many vagrants in the upper city. Good thing we waited, a voice sneers. Someone's been looking forward to this reunion. It's the green guy who tried to kill Kay in the beginning of the story. Looks like the beating he got last time didn't stick. Surrounded and outnumbered. For anyone else, this would be a death sentence. For Kay, it's just Tuesday. Where's Marie? He's not asking twice. But the thugs think they're the ones in control here. This guy still hasn't gotten over the time Kay turned him into a literal wreck. He's been crawling his way back up just to get a taste of revenge. Some people just don't know when to quit. He says Lord Blanc gave the order to bring him in. The mad scientist is finally making his move. He orders his men to attack all at once. He really thinks numbers will save him. Kay activates his new gauntlet, Black ink surges, turning his hand into a weapon of mass destruction. He manifests a shadow blade. He's not wasting a single second on these clowns. No mercy for the trash of this city. If you kidnap innocent people, you lose your right to walk away. They charge, but K is a blur. He moves through them like they're standing still. A flurry of strikes sends the first wave crashing to the ground. He's a one-man army, tearing through the group with surgical precision. Green Guy is starting to regret every life choice that led to this moment. He tries a desperate counter, but he's basically fighting a force of nature. K absorbs the attack like it's a light breeze. The power gap is just embarrassing at this point. One solid hit, and the Green Pioneer's revenge tour comes to a violent end. K grabs him by the neck. He doesn't like violence, but he'll make an exception for this guy. The rest of the gang is already out for the count. Don't touch his family. Period. K looks him dead in the eye. This is what happens when you bring a knife to a shadow fight. Calling yourself a pioneer? You're a disgrace. K has zero respect for these frauds. The guy is paralyzed with fear. He finally realizes he's staring into the eyes of a real monster. K starts the drain. The screams echo through the chamber as his color is ripped away. He's taking a hostage. He needs someone who knows the layout of the hell they're about to enter. Without a moment's hesitation, K jumps into the void, dragging his guide with him. They fall through the darkness, the world above fading into a distant memory. Down they go, plummeting into the deepest depths of the city. K's been here before. This isn't exactly a trip down memory lane he was looking forward to. Welcome to the Undercity, where the rules of the surface don't apply. K walks through the dark alleys of the industrial district, with a colorless subordinate following close behind. K isn't in the mood for talk, giving the old man a sharp shove to keep him moving. He warns his guide not to try anything stupid if he wants to stay in one piece. The man looks back, clearly shaken by the sheer pressure K is putting out. K's expression remains cold, he's hunting, and nothing is going to get in his way. In a flash, he grabs the subordinate by the throat, cutting off any attempt at a complaint. He reminds the guy that he still doesn't seem to understand the gravity of his situation. K's gaze is terrifyingly intense as he stares right through him. If so much as a hair on Marie's head is touched, K will make sure they all regret it. They finally emerge into the Undercity, a lawless nest hidden away from the world's light. People whisper as they pass, sensing the dangerous aura coming off the mysterious, black, intruder. This is a place where luminous light never reaches, a sanctuary for gangs and criminals. It's a harsh world where the colorless work the underground mines just to survive. For K, this is also the very place where he first crossed paths with Marie. The subordinate leads him straight toward the base, muttering about K being a little rat. He smirks, convinced that the boy has walked right into a fatal death trap. They arrive at the entrance, the massive industrial structures looming over them. K stops, sensing the crowd of fighters already waiting for his arrival. A group of thugs stands ready, their eyes fixed on the target who dared to show up. They're stunned to see K's appearance, never having seen someone truly black before. One of them mocks him, asking if he fell into a barrel of ink. Their leader, a man in a top hat and sunglasses, welcomes K with a smug grin. The subordinate immediately scurries over to his boss, desperate to get away from K. He frantically reports that he's delivered the Black One as he was ordered. The boss isn't impressed, noticing that his man has lost his color once again. He reminds the trembling man that anyone without color is completely worthless to them. Since his value has run out, the boss decides his time in this world is over. With a sudden, violent strike, he disposes of his incompetent subordinate. The old man is sent crashing to the ground, a literal pile of gray trash at K's feet. The boss sighs, hating that he had to waste time on such a pathetic failure. He turns his attention to K, noting that the boy hasn't changed one bit. K skips the small talk, demanding to know exactly where they're holding Marie. The boss just laughs, telling K he should have cooperated when they asked nicely. He taunts K, saying the longer he resists, the more Marie will suffer. Even the most useless people still serve a purpose in his eyes. That's the final straw. K decides he's done talking and is ready to level the place. A dark energy begins to surge through his arm as he gathers his power. A massive, terrifying wave of black ink erupts from K's body, consuming the air. The boss's smug smile disappears as he feels the raw, crushing force of the black power. The black ink pulses like a living beast, ready to tear through everything in its path. A violent explosion of dark energy rocks the entire area as K lets loose. Somewhere else, a mysterious figure sits in the dark, watching the storm unfold from afar. A lackey rushes to the boss with some urgent news. "What is it?" Bing asks. Turns out the Black One is going absolutely wild outside. Bing isn't pleased. He needs to see this problem for himself. Meanwhile, K is straight up cooking the grunts, taking them out with zero effort. The assistant with glasses is losing his mind. He realizes they're dealing with a total monster. Bing finally steps into the light. He's massive, covered in tattoos, and ready to end this. Oh. He's here. The assistant's hope is back. Bing, the branch leader, towers over the battlefield with a look of pure disdain. He mocks his men for not being able to capture a single person. K looks at the rulers of the Undercity with bored eyes. Their reputation is in tatters. Bing can feel it. K is undeniably strong. The assistant hypes his boss up, bragging about Bing being an A-rank pioneer back in the day. Bing warns K that he should have listened while he was being polite. Now, it's too late. He slams the ground, shattering the floor with raw physical power. But K is already on the move, closing the distance in a heartbeat. The two clash, a flurry of strikes that would crush a normal person. Bing cracks a wide, predatory grin. He loves a good fight. K isn't impressed. He's just warming up. Bing decides it's time to get serious. "Now let's see how you handle me," he growls. He throws a punch that could level a building, but K isn't backing down. The impact creates a massive shockwave, tearing the environment apart. Amidst the rubble, K stands tall, his expression colder than ever. Bing lunges forward again, his eyes glowing with murderous intent. He throws a devastating strike, but K manages to stay one step ahead. K raises his hand and calls out his move, Ink Wave Blast. A wave of dark energy slams into Bing, catching the giant completely off guard. Bing's eyes widen. He feels something fundamentally wrong. It's not just a physical hit. He's getting sucked dry. Bing lets out a blood-curdling scream as the black ink drains his power. The assistant can only watch in horror. What kind of freakish trick is this? Bing realizes he can't hold back. He has to go all out if he wants to win. He gathers his strength, molding the ground into massive, jagged stone armor. It's been years since he last had to release this much power. K watches the transformation. His usual style won't cut it against that armor. He needs something sharper, something designed for pure destruction. As Bing prepares to strike, K begins to gather a massive amount of black ink. The air turns freezing as K's murderous aura reaches its peak. Bing freezes. He's never felt a killing intent this suffocating in his entire life. From the shadows, an endless forest of black blades emerges. This is the power of black. K's eye narrows with absolute malice. Welcome to his arsenal of malice. Explosions rock the industrial district as the battle heats up. K swoops in, relentless with his black ink attacks. Bing is getting visibly annoyed by this brat's persistence. He can't believe the sheer variety of weapons K is manifesting. K manifests a spear and readies his next strike. He swings with lethal precision, forcing Bing onto the defensive. Bing barely blocks the heavy overhead blow. A close shave, the ink blade misses his head by an inch. K doesn't let up, keeping the pressure at maximum. The ink blade slams into Bing's rocky armor, sending fragments flying. K winds up for another devastating swing. Bing is forced back, struggling to keep his guard up. He realizes K is specifically targeting his head with every strike. The assault continues without a single moment of rest. Bing's reinforced body is getting shredded like it's made of paper. He can't believe his ultimate defense is failing so easily. It doesn't matter that K's weapons break so easily, they're all just as dangerous as his training. His pride as an executive of the Shadow is being crushed. Bing decides he's done playing games and prepares a massive counter. He ignores whatever Blanc said and goes for the kill. He screams for K to die as he unleashes his full power. Angle of destruction, the entire area is caught in a lethal vortex. A massive shockwave of stone and debris levels the landscape. Bing waits for the dust to settle, certain of his victory. But K is still standing right there, staring him down. He blocked the entire shockwave with his own ink. Bing is frozen in pure terror as K initiates an ink drain. His very color is being forcibly siphoned away. He can't understand how a black can have this many abilities. K slowly walks forward, his presence overwhelming. Black ink starts creeping up Bing's arm like a parasite. Bing's vision begins to fail as the drain takes hold. Suddenly, he's completely blind, staring into an endless void. K leaps in to finish the job while Bing is helpless. A heavy punch lands right on his jaw. Bing collapses to the ground, gasping for air. He can feel his strength and life force fading rapidly. The ink is spreading across his body like a black terminal poison. Bing curses the blackness for being so unfair. K just looks down at him, completely unfazed by his words. He grabs Bing by the throat, asking why he should ever fight fair. With he unable to resist, K prepares for the final sucking. K finishes the job, literally sucking the life out of he. The shadow lackey watching from the side is absolutely losing it. Seeing a high-ranking executive get folded like laundry wasn't on his bingo card. He screams, "Monster," and books it, which honestly. Smart move. Bing is officially out for the count, he got the soul sucked out of him. K stands there silhouetted in the ruins, looking like the final boss. If looks could kill, K's glare would have leveled the entire city by now. Meanwhile, Marie wakes up in a cold dark room. She's got a killer headache and zero clues on how she got here. She's disoriented and scared. A single spotlight hits her. It's like a twisted version of a stage play. A voice from the shadows tells her they've been waiting. Classic villain line. Marie asks the obvious question, but she might not like the answer. A guy in a lab coat is nerding out over K's file. He's surprised a colorless guy can actually show some personality. Flashback to when K was just a hollow shell with no soul behind the eyes. Marie recognizes that voice, and it's sending chills down her spine. Every bad memory from her childhood just came rushing back at once. Those glowing glasses are a dead giveaway for a mad scientist. It's Blanc. The man who turned their lives into a living hell. He greets her like an old pal. Seriously, this guy has no chill. Marie's soul practically leaves her body. She thought this creep was dead. Turns out, he's like a cockroach that just won't stay squashed. He barely survived the collapse, but unfortunately for everyone, he did. Now he's been promoted to an executive for the Shadow. Just what we needed. He calls them his very first lab rats. This reunion is getting awkward. That sadistic grin tells you everything you need to know about his plans. He's more than happy to show off his latest research breakthroughs. He reveals a massive lab filled with tubes. It's a literal factory of horrors. People are being marched in like they're nothing more than livestock. The sheer number of victims is enough to make anyone's stomach turn. He's even got cages full of monsters just hanging out. Marie is completely paralyzed with shock. This is way worse than before. She can't believe this nightmare facility still exists. A subordinate brings him the latest extract. It's definitely not grape juice. She asks if he's really doing this again. His answer? A very casual, of course. He thinks it'd be a crime not to use people like batteries. Welcome back to the extraction system. Marie's nightmare is just getting started. Explosions rip through the Undercity, sending debris flying everywhere. Panic strikes the streets as citizens scramble to escape the sudden chaos. People are terrified, convinced the local gang thugs have finally lost it. Kay arrives at the scene, casually dragging two unconscious thugs behind him like trophies. He stops at a dark, arched entrance, suspecting this is where they've hidden Marie. A trembling informant confirms that the girl is definitely inside the facility. The guy begs for his life, hoping he's done enough to be let go. Kay doesn't say a word and backhands him into a wall. Kay calls out to Nero, asking the little shadow familiar to track Marie's location. The small creature chirps happily, ready to assist his master. Nero jumps down to lead the way just as guards spot the intruder. A mob of armed thugs rushes down the stairs, screaming for Kay's head. Kay has zero patience for these small fry. The longer he waits, the more danger Marie is in. He prepares a new technique, black ink swirling violently around his arm. A massive, jagged black spike manifests on his arm, radiating pure destruction. He unleashes a single, devastating blast that obliterates the entire staircase and everyone on it. The few survivors are paralyzed with fear, unable to believe the monster they're facing. Inside the lab, Marie watches in horror, calling Blanc insane. She screams at the scientist, demanding to know why he keeps doing such horrific things. Blanc just tilts his head, completely unfazed by her outburst. He calmly asks why she's so upset, acting like he's just doing his job. The madman claims he's actually grateful that they all became his test subjects. He points toward a massive furnace-like machine where a new extraction is about to begin. An old man is dragged toward the machine, sobbing and begging for his life. The guards don't care, brutally beating him and forcing him toward the door. He desperately claws at the entrance, but he's no match for their strength. The man's final scream for mercy echoes through the cold laboratory. The heavy metallic door slams shut, sealing his fate inside the machine. Hissing steam erupts from the top as the soul extraction process begins. Thick, glowing liquid begins to pulse through the laboratory's transparent tubes. A vibrant reddish-pink substance drips slowly into a collection vial. Marie can only watch in silence as another life is distilled into a liquid. Her face is pale with shock, it's the exact same nightmare she witnessed years ago. Blanc holds up a glowing golden vial, mesmerized by the beauty of the color. He admits his early experiments were messy, even wasting the samples he took from her. He explains his success comes from extracting the hidden potential of those who develop color late. It's not just people, he's even found a way to extract radiant color from monsters. The maniac claims he's bestowing a gift by making their worthless souls shine brilliantly. He introduces his masterpiece, a substance he calls Mixid. Holding a swirling purple vial, Blanc smiles, ready to see how many ways he can use it. Blanc notes that even mindless creatures can be controlled by their instinctual pull toward color. Marie is disgusted, yelling that every single one of them has completely lost their minds. She can't believe they're actually stuffing living human beings into machines just for a project. The girl demands to know if he really thinks the city will let him get away with these atrocities. Blanc just smiles, admitting he knew she'd have a strong reaction, but he's totally unfazed. He's so far gone that he genuinely doesn't see anything wrong with what he's doing. The scientist claims his genius is just too far ahead of its time to be understood by commoners. Marie snaps back, asking why he doesn't just extract the color from his own body if he loves it so much. She's convinced his soul is probably stained with the same filth as his actions. Blanc's expression shifts, and he casually mentions that it actually isn't stained at all. He reveals he's already tested that theory, leaving Marie completely stunned. The madman admits he's been regularly extracting from his own body this entire time. He claims there's no way he'd create something so perfect and not use it on himself first. Without a hint of hesitation, he tosses his glove aside to show the results. He reveals a mechanical prosthetic, proof that he's literally dedicated life and limb to his research. He describes his own extracted color as beautiful, looking completely obsessed. Vials of his own soul sit on a shelf, ready to be used as a resource whenever he needs them. Marie is beyond horrified, begging him to shut up as his twisted logic makes her sick. Blanc just laughs it off, saying he got a bit carried away with his own brilliance. Her face drops as he mentions he already knows Kay has entered the Undercity. He confirms that kidnapping her was the perfect way to lure out the first Black Wielder. The guy notes that Kay has always followed her like a shadow, making her the ultimate bait. He boasts that his men are likely capturing Kay at this very moment. The scientist orders his thugs to haul her away until the main event begins. He starts prepping the lab to welcome some very special guests. Apparently, someone big is coming to trade for his new Mixid substance. Suddenly, the entire facility begins to rumble violently. Blanc pauses, confused by the sudden thundering noise coming from above. In an instant, the ceiling above the lab completely gives way. Debris rains down as everyone scrambles to avoid being crushed by the falling stone. Through the thick dust, a powerful figure descends into the center of the room. Kay lands in a crouched stance, looking ready for war. Marie finally breathes a sigh of relief. Back in the Shining City, the elite are currently losing their minds. They just realized the kid they were monitoring is currently soloing a whole gang. Reports say Kay is wrecking the Undercity just to save one of his friends. Hudson is livid, blaming Camellia for letting this dangerous black to run wild. But the city is busy enough fighting off the monsters at the border. They're low on manpower and can't afford to send help to every corner. Their top fighter is already tied up at another fortress, leaving them thin. The other council members tell Hudson to chill, but he's not having it. To him, the Undercity is just a breeding ground for even more chaos. He's worried these Black Hands traitors are behind the whole thing. Hudson has a very specific idea of how to handle problematic people. He views K's dark energy as a curse that will eventually destroy them all. So, he suggests they take this chance to just remove the dangerous variable. Camellia stands her ground, refusing to let them kill off her best asset. She understands the risk, but she knows K's potential is too high to waste. Hudson pushes to deploy the peacekeeping forces and stick to his plan. But K is the only one who can actually clear the black barriers. Camellia takes full responsibility, deciding to handle the Undercity mess personally. The older counselor has heard enough and decides it's time to head out. Hudson is visibly annoyed that he didn't get his way. He bites his tongue and promises to meet their expectations, for now. He calls the whole thing a waste of time and walks out in a huff. Camellia tells him he worries too much before leaving her to the fallout. She proposes a plan to help him chill out. She's sending in Team Red reinforcements to make sure things go smoothly. Hudson is still watching from the shadows, his eye twitching with suspicion. He wants this settled cleanly. Buta Black like K is anything but clean. Back at the ZHQ, K makes a grand entrance by crashing through the roof. Blanc, the purple-haired mad scientist, is shook to his core. K isn't here for a reunion, he's here for blood. He immediately notices his top priority Marie. K summons his arsenal of malice, prepping some dark daggers. He rips through the guards like they're made of paper. Blanc ducks for cover as his perfect specimen goes on a killing spree. The security team gets turned into shish kebabs in record time. In the middle of the fight, the color liquids get smashed. K keeps his momentum going, sprinting toward the holding area. He leaps over the guards, his eyes locked on the girl he came to save. Anyone who steps in front of him gets a face full of dark energy. He finally lands in front of Marie, acting as her personal Dark Knight. She looks up, her eyes wide with relief as she realizes she's safe. K just gives her a chill look and apologizes for the delay. What a guy. K finally cracks a smile, asking if she had to wait too long for her rescue. Nero doesn't hesitate for a second, leaping right back into Marie's arms. She's just relieved that her favorite duo finally made it to the lab. Marie feels guilty for making them worry, but K is just glad she's safe. He gives her a rare, soft look that proves he isn't just a killing machine. With the guards face down, the other prisoners decide it's time to ghost. Blanc watches his little rabbits run, but he's got his eyes on a bigger prize. To him, people are just raw materials, and he's always got a surplus. He greets K like an old friend, ecstatic that he finally awakened a color. He calls K a unique specimen, sounding more like a creepy collector than a human. K stays quiet, but you can practically hear him planning Blanc's funeral. Marie drops the bombshell. This is Blanc, the guy who tortured them as kids. K recognizes the name instantly. The ghost from his past is standing right there. He was supposed to be buried under the ruins of their childhood nightmare. But Blanc is very much alive and ready to play fellow researchers with K. He tosses a few vials over as a gift, but it's definitely not a peace offering. The glass shatters at K's feet, releasing a pungent, colorful mist. The liquid spreads across the floor, and K realizes he's stepped into a trap. Marie shouts a warning, that liquid is a lure designed to attract monsters. Blanc admits he's a bit of a pacifist when it comes to getting his hands dirty. The monsters in the cages are more than happy to do the dirty work for him. The mad scientist pulls the lever, officially declaring that it's feeding time. The shadows swarm out of their cages, lured by the scent at K's feet. K immediately goes into combat mode, shredding the first few monsters. He's putting in work, but the sheer number of creatures is starting to push back. Blanc explains that while most powers fade, his extraction changes everything. He's not just watching the fight, he's actively harvesting K's energy. His mechanical arm starts pulling the black ink right out of some discarded weapons. He holds up a vial of K's essence, looking like he just won the lottery. The guy is completely obsessed, and he wants a lot more than just one vial. He mocks K, asking what other tricks his unique color can pull off. K is getting overwhelmed as his power is drained while he's busy fighting. Marie realizes the situation is critical. K is reaching his limit. Usually, he'd clear these mobs easily, but Blanc's trap is actually working. He's hitting color exhaustion, and if he collapses here, they're both done for. Marie refuses to be a damsel in distress and starts looking for an opening. She notices the ink and lure fluids have turned the entire floor into a puddle. The mixture of chemicals and ink is the perfect conductor for what she has in mind. She spots a high-voltage machine and knows exactly what needs to be done. She grabs a screwdriver and starts ripping into the machine's internal wiring. She hauls out the heavy-duty power cables, ignoring the sparks. She rips them apart with her bare hands, exposing the electricity. Marie screams for Kay to keep his feet off the floor if he doesn't want to become a human battery. She slams the live wires into the conductive ink, turning the floor into a giant bug zapper. A massive electrical surge rips through the facility, completely overwhelming the monsters. Turns out, Marie is just as dangerous as Kay when you give her a couple of power cables. Blanc stares at his destroyed shadow wolves, completely unbothered by the loss of his masterpieces. Instead of fear, the scientist looks almost disappointed in his creations. Kay and Marie stand over the remains of the shadow creatures, ready for the next round. Marie shouts for Kay to take the opening while he still has the chance. Kay doesn't hesitate, readying himself to draw more power from the darkness. A dense black aura begins to swirl around him as he locks onto his target. Kay's gauntlets refill with dark thick black ink. He watches Kay charge with a creepy sense of anticipation. The guy is actually grinning, he's loving every second of this fight. Blanc points a finger, mesmerized by the perfection of Kay's black ink. To him, this isn't a battle, it's the most beautiful research data he's ever seen. Kay stays stoic, ignoring the madman's ramblings about bottomless greed. Blanc's obsession is hitting a peak, he wants to dissect that power right now. Kay launches himself forward, a blur of shadow aimed straight at the doctor. He closes the distance in a heartbeat. Sparks fly as Kay's strike connects with Blanc's mechanical arm. Blanc just smiles, admitting his natural abilities aren't built for a brawl. He pulls out two specialized vials to even the playing field. He slams the green and purple injections into his mechanical gauntlet. Kay pauses for a second, sensing a sudden, dangerous shift in energy. The scientist throws Kay's sword to the side, finally ready to get his hands dirty. Blanc tries to bridge the gap, claiming they're actually a lot alike. He laughs, calling Kay a parasite who steals colors just like he does. The chemicals hiss as they're forced into his system. Blanc releases an energy blade that crackles with raw, extracted power. The two clash again, green meeting shadow in a high-speed blur. They trade blows across the room, neither one backing down an inch. Blanc keeps talking mid-clash, offering a partnership to find the ultimate truth. Kay isn't buying it, his expression as cold as ever. He blocks another strike as Blanc rants about the beauty of color. The doctor is tweaked out, his eyes wide with a manic hunger for Kay's essence. Kay narrows his eyes, focusing purely on ending the fight. Blanc begs for just a single drop of that pure delicate black color. He lunges forward with a crazed shout, desperate to grab Kay. Kay takes the hit, but something is different this time. Blanc's expression suddenly shifts from madness to pure shock. Kay starts absorbing the very energy Blanc used to attack him. A vortex of black and green swirls between them as the power is redirected. Kay catches Blanc's arm, his grip like a vice. With a massive surge of power, Kay slams the scientist into the wall. Blanc hits the wall hard, coughing up blood as the crater shatters beneath him. Even broken and bleeding, he stares up at Kay with a terrifyingly impressed smile. Blanc admits that no matter what he throws at Kay, the guy just absorbs it like a sponge. Since standard techniques aren't working, he decides to pull out the black extraction. He's willing to bet everything on this last resort, even his own life. Kay watches closely, asking the mad scientist exactly what he's planning. Blanc just laughs it off, claiming he's doing this all in the name of science. He slams the vial of concentrated ink into his mechanical arm. He doesn't even care if the power kills him, the adrenaline is too good to pass up. Black energy erupts, swirling around Blanc like a living shadow. The guy's losing his mind as the power starts to take over. He can't believe just a fragment of this color holds so much raw strength. Blanc stands transformed, his arm now a mass of writhing black ink. He gives Kay a final warning. It's time for some black-on-black crime. Blanc lunges forward, a blur of manic energy and dark power. He slams his ink-covered fist right into Kay's defense. The impact is massive, sending shockwaves through the entire room. Blanc is ecstatic, finally feeling the true power of Kay's color for himself. He tries one last time to recruit him, but Kay isn't interested in his nonsense. Blanc just laughs, claiming they're basically the same person deep down. He starts playing mind games, questioning Kay's loyalty to Marie. He calls Kay a parasite, someone who only exists by stealing from others. He mocks Kay's very identity, calling him nothing but an empty vessel. Blanc claims Kay is just a fraud, deceiving everyone for his own selfish goals. He leans into the darkness, trying to break Kay's spirit completely. But the lecture is cut short when a wrench flies out of nowhere and hits him. My goat Marie is up on the balcony, and she's had enough of Blanc's trash talk. She calls him out for being a terrible doctor who never even cared for Kay. She screams at the top of her lungs that Kay is his own person. She tells him Kay isn't pretending, he's fighting because he wants to change. A memory of them as kids flashes back, the one person who saw him for who he was. Marie tells the doctor to shut his mouth and starts throwing every tool she can find. She unloads on him, calling him a vile murderer and a complete creep. Kay looks up, his heart finally finding some ground in her words. Blanc is stunned as the black energy on his arm begins to fail. Kay's own power begins to surge, responding to his renewed resolve. Blanc can only watch in awe as Kay's strength starts to skyrocket. Massive fists of dense black ink form over Kay's arms, looking absolutely terrifying. Kay takes a breath and gives Marie a quiet thank you. He moves like a shadow, closing the gap in less than a second. He smashes into Blanc's arms like a rocket. His gauntlet is smashed instantly. Blanc's body starts to buckle, the ink is tearing him apart. Kay looms over him like a literal nightmare, ready to end this once and for all. Kay decides he's done talking and slams Blanc into the floor with enough force to rearrange the entire building. The impact shatters the floor, leaving a massive crater and finally putting an end to this chaotic experiment. Kay stands over the wreckage. The fight is finally over. Marie checks in to see if he's alright. Kay's doing fine, but Blanc has definitely seen better days. The scientist is barely clinging to life, but he's still way too dangerous to leave behind. No more games. It's time to settle the score for good. Kay summons his ink blade. He isn't about to leave any loose ends. If the madman survives, he'll just keep repeating his twisted experiments. The prisoner coughs up blood, but the look on his face is far from defeated. He's actually smiling. Even at death's door, he's still obsessed with Kay's unique power. He's still dreaming about stealing Kay's color to become capable of anything. Talk about bad timing, a massive explosion rocks the entire facility. Kay quickly pulls Marie close, shielding her from the rain of debris. Turns out Blanc rigged the whole extraction room with ink charges. His bosses decided to clean house and erase all the evidence, starting with everyone inside. Everything is going up in flames. There's no way out. The floor finally gives up and splits wide open. Kay and Marie take a one-way trip straight into the abyss. He catches a final glimpse of Nero at the top before the darkness swallows them. They hit the bottom, splashing into a literal sea of toxic black ink. Kay surfaces, but this stuff is pure poison. It's hard to even breathe. Marie's struggling nearby, and she's not doing well. The ink is pulling her down. She cries out for Kay one last time. He screams her name, but he's too far away to reach her. Just like that, Marie sinks beneath the black surface. Kay doesn't think twice, he dives straight into the pitch-black soup. He can see her drifting away in the depths. He's gotta move fast. Absorbing this much ink would take forever. Marie doesn't have that kind of time. He reaches out, desperate to grab onto her before she's gone for good. Everyone knows the rules, you fall into black ink, you don't come back. He questions why she even got a color if this was how it was gonna end. But giving up isn't an option. Not when it comes to her. He pushes through the heavy liquid, swimming with everything he's got. He's not letting go. Not today, not ever. His life flashes before his eyes, all those years they spent surviving together. Finally, he catches her hand. He's not losing her here. He begins to absorb the ink. Kay begs her to wake up. She promised to be there when he made it. He remembers Marie's words about the light everyone carries inside. Back then, she was the only one who believed he had a color of his own. It was the same thing Lumiel told him. That's why the word stuck. They lived through hell in the subterranean city, facing nothing but hate. But Marie always saw the best in people. She was his guide in the dark. Without her, he'd just be an empty shell. They built Manhwa Workshop together. They spent their days without ever knowing what happiness or fun truly felt like. But now, Kay is finally starting to understand. Lumiel showed him the path, but Marie is the reason he keeps walking it. He begs her to wake up, holding her as if his life depends on it. He can't let her go, not after all the promises they made. But no matter how much he calls out, she won't open her eyes. Marie looks so peaceful, but the silence is terrifying. Panic sets in as he realizes she isn't breathing anymore. Just as he loses hope, a faint light begins to pulse from her chest. The radiance grows stronger, illuminating her skin. Kay's eyes go wide. He's seen this light once before. It's the inner light he saw with his ability and Lumiel mentioned. The glow intensifies, cutting through the shadows of the pit. He grips her hand tight. He's not losing her today. He dives deep into her soul, reaching for that spark. A massive pillar of golden light erupts, filling the entire room. This isn't like devouring a color, it's something entirely new. The light is warm, familiar, and pulsing with a power he's never felt. Sensations of happiness and hope wash over him in waves. This is the radiance that's been hidden inside Marie all along. The brilliance is blinding, vivid beyond anything in this world. If color had a soul, it would shine exactly like this. Marie's hair shifts to a brilliant, vibrant yellow as she opens her eyes. Her eyes are glowing with that same golden hue. Kay is overwhelmed with relief. She's awake, and she's finally found her own color. Marie looks down at herself, completely baffled by the change. She can feel the warmth radiating from her own body. She starts to panic, wondering why she suddenly has a color of her own. Kay tells her to calm down, they've got bigger problems right now. It's confusing, but they need to get out before the place collapses. They're stuck at the bottom of a massive silo with no clear exit. More explosions rock the upper levels, sending debris raining down. Suddenly, a familiar silhouette appears at the edge of the pit. It's Nero. They look up and see the shadow cat peering down at them. The green-haired Gale calls out from the top. He's glad they're still alive. Gale and Ellie arrive just in time. Nero really came through. Memories are a blur. For Kay, everything started in a thick, aimless fog. He stood in a void where nothing was clear and everything felt distant. He just drifted along, a hollow shell carried by an unseen current. Occasionally the fog lifted, revealing strange places he didn't recognize. But the unfamiliar sights didn't matter. He just kept moving. No matter where his wandering led, he felt like he had family nearby. Nero was his only constant, the little creature always watching over him. To a boy with nothing else, Nero was the only world he needed. Then, a brilliance arrived that changed everything. A man named Lumiel appeared, glowing with a radiant rainbow light. He left an indelible mark on Kay's soul, a light he'd crave forever. Unfortunately, their time together was far too short. Kay began to wander again, passing through endless stretches of time. He was like a moth drawn to a flame, Uncle Ruckus would be proud. He wondered if he'd ever stand before such brilliance again. Deep in the dark Undercity, a voice finally called out to him. Kay looked up, his eyes wide with surprise and exhaustion. A girl stood before him in the lightless depths. It was Marie. She stared at the quiet, strange boy in the rain. She asked if he could talk or if he was just staring into space. She warned him to cover up before the toxic ink rain touched his skin. Above them, the pipes leaked water mixed with dangerous ink residue. Marie shielded herself, urging the boy to hurry. She couldn't believe he was carrying a creature like Nero around. There was no time for questions. She pushed him to move quickly. They ran past barbed wire, trying to avoid the guard's notice. Marie looked back, terrified of what would happen if they were caught. The guards found them anyway, shouting about designated zones. A massive hand grabbed Kay's arm, pulling him away. They were dragged into the dark heart of a massive facility. Blanc watched them with a cold, sadistic smile. He called the children precious samples and laughed at their fear. The guard stood by as Marie realized they were trapped. They were joined by a group of other children, all looking defeated. Marie looked at Kay, her face pale as the reality set in. It was called an orphanage, but it was nothing more than a prison. These fake facilities exploited poverty relief policies to hide. Abandoned children were used as cheap labor in the toxic labs. Bro, is that whip in that back? But the labor was just a cover. Their true goal was human experimentation. Marie refused to die in a cage. She started collecting tools. She had been planning an escape long before Kay arrived. Her unbreakable spirit gave the other kids a reason to hope. Marie was the anchor for these kids, the only light in a very dark place. She whispers the plan: in 3 days, they're finally breaking out. She thanks Kay for the help, though he still looks like he needs a hug. Marie's convinced they're all making it out together. If only it were that easy. That was the moment something shifted inside Kay. He finally started to sync up with Marie's frequency. The kids gather in secret, clinging to the hope of a life outside the walls. Marie takes charge, keeping everyone quiet while the guards are on patrol. It's their final night in this hellhole. One last sleep before freedom. She dreams of the shining city, a place where even they can have a future. A city of color where status isn't everything. Sounds like a fairy tale. Then she asks the big question: what does Kay want to do once they're free? For the first time, Kay says the word. Colorist. Marie is stunned. It's a bold dream for a kid with zero color. He wants to follow in Lumiel's footsteps. A landmark for his soul. It's the first time Kay has actually wanted something for himself. But the doubt creeps back in immediately. He thinks it's impossible. Every adult they know tells them they're weak. Hard to ignore that noise. Kay admits he was just chasing light, but has no clue what's next. Marie can't stand seeing him this gloomy while everyone else is hyped. She's got one more secret to share, and it's a game changer. She tells him color can manifest late. It's not over until it's over. The kicker? Even the legendary Lumiel was once just like them. Kay's world is rocked. If Lumiel could do it, why not him? Marie insists everyone has a hidden color inside, including him. She promises to help him learn, one step at a time. Failure is just part of the process. The important part is trying. She tells him to stop overthinking and just do what he wants. Then she force-fixes his face, because his gloominess is a total mood killer. And just like that, the two are sharing a rare moment of pure joy. But right as hope reaches its peak, reality decides to crash the party. Tomorrow never came. The dream was dead before they even woke up. The purge begins. Guards move in, and the facility turns into a war zone. Screams fill the halls as the kids are dragged back into the nightmare liquidation machines. The guards aren't taking prisoners this time. It's a total shutdown. Resistance is useless against a system built to dispose of them. Marie tries to fight back, but she's just a kid with a pipe. A heavy blow sends her crashing down. Kay watches in horror as his only friend is struck down. Bleeding and broken, Marie's only thought is for Kay to escape. Her voice fades as her strength leaves her. Something deep inside Kay finally snaps. The monster is waking up. Something dark is boiling up from deep within Kay's soul. He's finally asking the right questions. Is this what anger feels like? The guards think they've finished the job. They couldn't be more wrong. Turns out, the boss ordered a total disposal to wipe the slate clean. The lab was exposed, and Lord Blanc doesn't like loose ends. These goons are actually complaining about the manual labor of a massacre. But on the floor, a single hand begins to twitch with a new, dark power. The guard sense a shift in the air. Something is very, very wrong. From the shadows, a monster begins to take shape. Kay stands up, and he's not alone anymore. The darkness has arrived. He's not a kid anymore. He's something the world hasn't seen yet. With a single gesture, he unleashes the void. The facility, and everyone in it, is about to learn what true fear looks like. Kay wakes up to a world that's literally lost its color. A young Marie is right over him, crying tears of relief that he's alive. He's still half asleep, asking what the hell just happened to them. One look around and the answer is clear: a massive explosion leveled everything. Marie breaks the news: it looks like no one else made it out. Marie stares into the smoke, the weight of the tragedy finally sinking in. They remember their friends, good kids who didn't deserve this. The ruins are silent until the sound of approaching footsteps hits them. Kay senses people coming, but in this place, that's rarely a good thing. Marie wipes her face, trying to find some shred of courage for both of them. They have to move. Staying here means getting caught or dying in the cold. Right then and there, they make a promise to survive this hell. Marie forces a smile, promising they'll find happiness on the surface. Hand in hand, they walk toward a light that feels a million miles away. Fast forward to the present, and Kay's grip is firmer than ever. The group stands over the massive hole they punched into the hideout. Gale is just glad to be out of the literal bottom of the Undercity. But everyone wants to know what's going on with Marie's new look. Ellie is baffled. Marie was supposed to be a colorless nobody. She reaches out to touch the hair, verifying this vivid gold is the real deal. This saturation is insane, it's the kind of power nobles would kill for. It's not just a color, it's a declaration that Marie has finally awakened. Kay reminds them they're still in a gang hideout, not a salon. He's on high alert, sensing that the danger isn't quite over yet. Gale watches Kay walk away, noticing something is definitely off. Kay's eyes look different, cold, hollow, and way too intense. He tells them there's no need to rush, but he's already heading out. Kay's done playing nice. To him, the enemies were just trash to be cleared. The hallway is filled with frozen bodies, proof of his brutal efficiency. Even Marie looks horrified by the absolute carnage Kay left behind. Gale rants about how much of a nightmare it was to break through here. They navigate the graveyard, keeping their eyes peeled for any movement. The peacekeeping force is coming, but they've already finished the job. One survivor isn't ready to call it quits, reaching for a knife on the floor. He's furious, desperate, and looking for a target to take with him. He waits until they turn their backs before launching a sneak attack. The guy lunges at Marie with a dagger, screaming like a madman. Gale and Ellie are caught totally off guard by the ambush. Kay starts to move, but Marie doesn't actually need his help. She panics and throws a light punch right at the guy's face. One hit sends him flying through a concrete wall like a ragdoll. Everyone freezes. Turns out Marie is a literal wrecking ball now. Looks like they didn't even need to worry about Marie. She's got this. Marie's eyes are wide in shock, she barely even touched the guy. Turns out her new golden power comes with some serious physical force. The cleanup crew arrives right on cue after that massive wall collapse. The rhythmic sound of boots means the peacekeeping force has landed. They swarm the hideout, guns ready to take control of the remaining trash. The officer is stunned by the carnage. The pioneers really went to town. The group stands tall, though Marie still looks a bit rattled by her punch. The captain thanks them for the help. A job well done by the surface team. The captain's impressed, they ended this mess before he even got a shot off. The Shade organization is effectively gutted for the foreseeable future. As they head out, Gale is just relieved to finally leave this dump. Marie finally starts to relax now that the fighting is officially over. But the vibe between the group is still a little heavy. Ellie doesn't miss a beat, calling out Kay for acting weird lately. Kay freezes. Looks like his mask slipped for a second too long. He realizes he's been letting his internal darkness show on his face. He quickly covers up, asking if he was being unpleasant again. He slaps on a fake smile, claiming he just had some heavy thoughts. Ellie and Gale aren't buying the act, but they aren't pushing either. The silence between them is thick enough to cut with a blade. Gale decides to let it go, some secrets aren't worth prying into. Everyone has a past they'd rather keep buried in the Undercity. They walk away, leaving the heavy questions behind for another day. Ellie takes the hint and keeps her mouth shut. For now. Time to head back and leave this underground nightmare in the rearview. They step toward the surface, leaving the shadows of the facility. Deep in the guts of the ruins, someone else is having a much worse day. Blanc is a total wreck, barely holding himself together and bleeding purple. He slumps against a wall, realizing this might be his final act. Even as he dies, Blanc is obsessed with seeing Kay's true form. He hears something shifting in the darkness, and it isn't a hero. A glowing green silhouette approaches. Blanc's got a visitor. Meet Viper. She's got sharp teeth and a very predatory attitude. She's Blanc's business partner, and she's definitely not here for a hug. Viper is annoyed her little deal with the scientist is going south. She steps on him, slamming him into the ground. Blanc can barely choke out a response while he's drowning in his own mess. Viper doesn't care about his health, she just wants the item he owes her. She pokes at him with a grin, making sure he's still breathing. She pulls out a glowing substance, annoyed she has to waste it on him. She calls it a poison, but for Blanc, it's the only medicine that'll work. Dust settles over a field of rubble. Viper's sister is shaking, asking why she's so late. Viper isn't having it. Next time, she's dragging her sister along from the start. Deep in the shadows, Sword Demon is waiting. He's not impressed by the delay. He gets straight to the point. Did she bring it? Viper pulls out a box of vials. It's blanks mixed, also known as artificial color. She's already thinking about the payout. Helping out means a bigger cut of the profits next time. Everything's ready to go. The mood in the cave is getting dark. A massive 8-tails-like creature looms over them. The little sister is terrified, but Viper just stands her ground on the monster's back. Even Sword Demon has doubts. Is this little toy really going to control a beast this big? These creatures usually move for the Black Witch. If they go rogue, it's game over. Viper just grins. She's got this under control. With the witch asleep, the hierarchy is breaking. This vial is the shortcut they need. She uncaps the fluid, ready to turn this beast into a feral weapon. The purple liquid splashes down, and Viper gives the command to move if it wants more color. The creature's eye snaps open. It's wide, white, and completely feral. A massive roar shakes the cave as the beast finally wakes up. Viper is thrilled. She knew her little experiment would work. Their goal is simple: level the shining city to the ground. Up on the surface, the citizens are starting to notice the commotion. People are whispering. Looks like the gangs are stirring up trouble again. If the peacekeepers are showing up, things must be getting serious. A guard assures them the gang members are being rounded up. Nothing to worry about. A scout comes running with urgent news for the higher-ups. A figure walks through the crowd, glowing with an intense red light. It's team leader Red. Nobody expected a heavy hitter like him to show up here. He spots Kay and walks over. He wants to know what kind of mess the kids found this time. Red doesn't get surprised often, but something about this situation is off. He looks at Marie. She's changed a lot since the last time they crossed paths. Marie looks nervous. Another Awakener appearing right after Kay is a big deal. Red decides this conversation isn't for the public. Too many eyes watching. They head over to the Dawn Pioneer Corps headquarters to talk business. Inside, Camellia is already waiting with a smirk. She's impressed. Red always manages to bring back the most interesting finds. A new Awakener following in Kay's footsteps. It's a rare sight. Camellia introduces herself to Marie, who's still trying to process everything. Ever since Lumiel, Awakeners have been the hottest topic in the city. History is written by those who manifest color. Marie is part of that elite group now. Camellia can't stop gushing over Marie's vivid color. Then comes the real question: is Marie interested in joining the Dawn Corps? They can offer her anything she wants. All she has to do is say yes. Camellia is practically begging. If Marie joins another corps, she'll lose it. Marie is feeling the pressure, glancing back at Kay for some backup. Kay just gives a knowing smirk. He's not helping her out of this one. Marie takes a deep breath and clenches her hands. She's made her choice. She's in. She's got her own goals to reach as a pioneer, and this is the place to do it. Camellia is over the moon. She's ready to skip the small talk and get a signature right now. But the mood shifts. A voice from the shadows tells them to hold on a minute. It's team leader Yellow. He's been listening, and he's not about to let a rookie walk in that easily. Rules are rules. Every prospective member has to pass the initiation test first. They move to the massive indoor arena to get things started. Camellia is fuming. She thinks Yellow is being way too stubborn about the formalities. She reminds him that Marie is a rare find. If they wait, someone else will snatch her up. Marie stands her ground, even if Uncle Yellow is giving her the cold shoulder. He asks if she's really ready for this. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Marie picks her weapon, a heavy-duty cannon powered by color vials. She's committed. Yellow lays out the rules. One objective: take down the test golem waiting in the shadows. The ground shakes as the gate opens. This isn't just any training bot. A massive, steam-venting golem steps into the light. It's built like a tank. If she can't take this down, she has no business even dreaming of the Dark Lands. Marie is starting to have second thoughts. She's supposed to defeat that thing. Usually, tests aren't done on short notice like this. Yellow is making a point. But he knows the other members won't accept a newcomer without seeing some real results. He acknowledges she's an engineer at heart, not some seasoned combat veteran. But in the end, it all comes down to whether the color she carries is the real deal. He tells her to prove her worth with pride. It's time to show them what she's got. Marie takes her position, gun at the ready, as the giant machine looms over her. No more talking. The entrance test officially begins. The golem doesn't waste any time, swinging its massive arms with enough force to shatter the floor. Marie is barely dodging, screaming as she tries to put some distance between her and the bot. It's a chaotic dance. The golem keeps smashing, and Marie is just trying to stay in one piece. In the stands, Camellia is losing it. She thinks it's cruel to throw a total amateur into this. Marie is sweating, her eyes wide with panic. She has no idea what her next move should be. The golem isn't slowing down. It's a wall of steel that seems impossible to break. Then something clicks. Running away isn't an option if she wants to prove herself. She stops and aims. If she's got power, it's time to actually use it. She starts pouring every drop of her color into the gun, pushing it to the absolute limit. The weapon hums with dangerous energy. She's going for a single, decisive blow. She unleashes overheating. A massive golden explosion erupts, vaporizing the test golem in a single shot. A pillar of light shoots up from the arena, shaking the entire building. The observers are stunned. They can't believe what they just witnessed. Kay is wide-eyed too. He knew she had potential, but this power is just ridiculous. Team leader Yellow is floored. This rookie just matched his own power level for a split second. Her raw potential is terrifying. For a first-timer using Insploit, this level of power is unheard of. Marie is glowing like a miniature sun and screaming for someone to make it stop. Golden sparks are flying everywhere, forcing the stunned witnesses to dive for cover. Team leader Yellow rushes toward the chaos, desperately telling her to keep it together. It's no use. Marie is completely out of control, her energy surging as she shrieks in panic. The arena can't contain her. A massive blast tears through the roof as she shouts a frantic apology.